Potential deal, but there's a lot of he said, she said here, which is making the markets go pretty volatile. So President Trump did take to Truth Social yesterday to say that Iran was willing to come to the negotiation tables, and after that happened, of course, the markets were going to respond. So oil, then the price of oil went drastically down. It went back into the 80s, which, if you guys have been tracking, we've seen it spike to $120 a barrel at some points throughout this conflict. So going back to the 80s was really a great sign for traders here on the floor. But then we saw this morning Tehran striking back, saying absolutely not, we are not coming to the negotiation tables, and oil has since been reacting from that. So it's back up into the $90 range. Markets looking as if they're going to open either soft or in the negative on opening bell this morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Something else that we're watching is the fact that I spoke with some economists over the weekend, and they say that Iran is threatening to make sure that oil prices rise up near $180 a barrel because of this conflict. They're going to make it as difficult on traders, as the American population, as possible. If it hits that $180 mark, that will be record-breaking oil costs, at least that we've seen in the near future. This is higher than we saw it rise during the 2008 banking and housing crisis, higher than we saw it rise during Arab Spring. So that's something to keep an eye on, the fact that Iran purposefully wants these prices to go as high as possible. Potentially, that's what they're doing now with pushing back against the president, saying they're not willing to negotiate. But what we're seeing this morning is the markets are reacting to now this back and forth amongst what's going to happen with this conflict. Back to you.
That is shocking news, but we appreciate you actually elaborating on that. We appreciate it. Thank you, Christina Thompson.
Thanks, Christina.
So it's about $92 a barrel right now. So if it goes to 180, just going by for every dollar is an increase in a barrel of oil.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for San Francisco and the Bay Area. Seen on KURK3 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Well, good morning to you. Hey, happy Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday during spring vacation, which basically means everybody's still sleeping in.
And good morning anyway.
Good morning anyway. Anyway, good morning to you. Welcome to Mornings on theDove. This is where Jerry Belden gets his kicks, but only with his left leg.
Yeah, well, that's true, yeah.
There you go.
Golly.
Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. There always is. We'll bring you that. The weather is, kind of mixed, up and down.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was at the bank, and it has, the weather on the wall up there, and I'm looking at that. I go, gosh, that's not even close to what my phone says or what Jerry said.
You know what? I got to tell you the truth. I just checked my app. Yeah. And my weather app on Apple says one thing for today, and then I went to the National Weather Service app. They have a little deal, and it's slightly different. They're calling for a 20% chance of showers today in the late afternoon.
Okay.
You know what we call a 20% chance of showers?
No showers.
Or a slight.
Yeah,
slight chance, but 50% chance tonight. So it's a little unsettled out there, but it's still pretty warm.
Yeah, it's mild, very mild.
Man.
All right, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news, like I said. Anything special?
Well, first, it's American Diabetes Association Alert Day.
Okay.
It's a one-day wake-up call informing Americans about the seriousness of diabetes and encourage all of us to take the diabetes risk test and learn about your family's history of diabetes. Do you know your family's history?
No.
I know a little bit, and there's nothing immediate, but extended, a couple out there, so there is. But I think most families are affected by diabetes in one form or other.
Yeah.
They really are. Yeah. So this is the day to become alert. Right. Also, National Cheesesteak Day. Oh my gosh, something good to eat, of great substance. There's great debate about the originator of the sandwich. However, the credit has finally settled and given to a hot dog vendor from the 1930s. His name was Pat Olivieri, and he, according to Philadelphia's tourism site, Pat's King of Steaks, sits on its original location right now and is still going strong. And the key to this kind of a sandwich, of course, is the hoagie roll filled with chopped steak, and then, of course, cheese and onions. Yes, yeah, maybe even some peppers on there. Oh man,
A little horseradish.
yeah, or even hot sauce. But horseradish, I think, is better.
Yeah.
Gives you the ping of that get the heat and that flavor. So it's really good. So enjoy that. And all we have for dessert is chocolate-covered raisins.
Oh.
It's National Chocolate Covered Raisins Day. Now, this celebrates raisins coated in a shell of either milk chocolate or dark chocolate. And moviegoers have been snacking on chocolate-covered raisins for many years. And somehow popcorn and a box of chocolate-covered raisins go together perfectly. What?
Raisinets?
Well, in some countries, chocolate-covered raisins are known as Raisinets. And Raisinets produced the first and one of the most popular brands of the product, and currently it's made by Nestle. They are the third largest selling candy in the United States history, but the Blumenthal Company, the Blumenthal Chocolate Company, introduced the Raisinets to the United States in 1927, and then in 1984, Nestle acquired the brand. However, a large number of other brands produce chocolate-covered raisins for us to enjoy, and one of them is named Goobers. Goobers. But Raisinets is the biggest brand.
Really?
Yep. And however you like them, enjoy. I mean, it's got two great things for you. The antioxidants of chocolate and raisins.
Right.
Oh, it's all good.
For the cheese steak sandwich.
Yeah, that'll coat you. That'll coat your arteries.
Oh,
but anyway, we got good stuff.
Good stuff all the way around. All right, speaking of goober.
A look at our Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon, expect a wet and cool day with widespread rain from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Afternoon highs will be in the mid-50s and lows in the low 40s. Across the Willamette Valley, rain continues through much of the day. Highs will reach into the upper 50s for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 61 in Eugene with a light southwest wind. Cloudy with a chance of showers across central Oregon and daytime high temperatures near 66 in Prineville and low 60s for Bend and Sun River. Mostly cloudy in Boise, Idaho with a high near 77. Rainy and breezy along the coast with daytime highs near 60 in Coos Bay, mid to upper 50s for Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s around Crescent City, California with a gusty south wind. In southern Oregon, partly sunny with a chance of showers in near 68 in Grants Pass, partly to mostly sunny in low 70s for Medford and Ashland, mostly sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 60s. For Northern California, sunny and warmer weather continues. Wairika reaches the low to mid-70s, while Redding, Sacramento, and Chico climb well into the 80s under sunny skies with a light and variable wind. In the Bay Area, sunny skies dominate once again with warm temperatures in the low 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa. San Francisco will see mid-70s with a light west wind, and in San Jose, a high near 82. It's a look at your Tuesday forecast from Grange Co-op.
And there's a look of our backyard. No, that's not the LA Basin. That is southern Oregon right there. All right, we're about an hour or so away from a full sunrise, but a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Well, it's a little early to tackle it, but one of the things that we have to face is sin in our lives. But hang on, here is great encouragement with Pastor Jack Graham.
What we call addiction, and there are many addictions, but what we call addictions, the Bible calls bondage. Bondage. A slave to sin. Thank God for His love that sent Jesus Christ to this earth to die on the cross for our sins and, yes, our shame. To remove our sins, according to the scripture, as far as the east is from the west. You know how far that is? Infinity. Infinity. To drown our sins in the depths of the sea. Listen to what God says in Micah 7. Micah 7, 18 and 19. We'll wrap this up. But it says, who is a God like you? pardoning iniquity and passing over transgression for the remnant of his inheritance. That's you and me. We're the inheritance of God. He does not retain his anger forever because he delights in his steadfast love. And he will again, and might I add again and again and again and again, his grace is greater than our sin. He again will have compassion on us. He will tread our iniquities underfoot, and you will cast all our sins into the depths of the sea. Praise the holy name of our saving God.
Amen to that. Good stuff. So, addiction is bondage. Boy, I think Doug would say amen to that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good morning to you. 8 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. And, of course, what's going on in Iran continues to dominate in so many ways. And Israel has renewed strikes there in Tehran. And they're bombing away like crazy. The president's got a 5-day stay because supposedly he's talking to what's left of the officials in Iran.
Okay.
But Iran is saying to its people, we're not talking to the United States.
Yeah, we're getting mixed messages, aren't we?
So it's typical of what Iran does.
Okay.
So in the meantime, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said about his strikes, their goal now is to turn Iran's nuclear program into dust.
Okay.
So I don't know. It would be interesting to know, but we'll probably never will until this thing's all over. But is Iran and the United States dividing up targets? You take those, we'll take
Oh, you mean United States and Israel?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I got so much going on. Yeah, the United States and Israel. I wonder if they're dividing up targets.
It seems like they might be, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming that everything Israel does is coordinated with the United States, but occasionally we hear something a little different that kind of...
We do.
Yeah.
But the goal or the objective between the two countries is different in some ways, but they are coordinated. So I don't know. But in the meantime, the Israelis' Air Force did strike the main security headquarters of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. And so they're zeroing in with their intelligence on where to go. The big problem still remains the Strait of Hormuz, and we'll have to see how this plays out. But it's kind of interesting. By the way, Zelensky, a couple of hours ago, made a huge statement that Putin and Iran are
sharing intelligence,
working hand in hand.
Yes. Now, what would Putin know that they wouldn't already know in Iran?
Good question. Now, you got to understand, what would be Zelensky's motive for pulling Putin into this?
Well, he wants more help.
See, okay.
Yeah.
So, secondly, there is one thing that's a problem with Putin.
What?
Most of the drones that Iran is using comes from Russia.
Okay.
That's a problem.
Okay.
And now, whether they're still getting them in there, which I don't think they are, but they are apparently Russian-made. So anyway, we'll see how that plays out. All the dynamics of that.
That's interesting.
Okay, the UK. Why is the UK allowing itself to be destroyed?
They have lost their way. I don't know.
It is really something really sad.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the UK defense chief also comes up with this little line that Putin has a hidden hand in the war tactics for Iran. And here's what he had to say.
Established growing axis of aggression, haven't we, between Russia and Iran? We've seen the way that Russia has fired nearly 60,000 Iran-style drones into Ukraine. And we see from Iran some of the same tactics we see from Russia in Iran.
Okay, so pretty complicated. It's hard for us sitting in these armchairs trying to figure this stuff out. But it looks like Putin is involved in some kind of a way. And of course, the UK is now pointing this out, which is kind of interesting for the UK to point this out. But there is a motive for the UK to point this out.
What?
That is because if Russia gets Ukraine, then what's left in the EU for him to go after in spite of NATO?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. In the meantime, as you know, the president has decided he wants to send ICE into busy airports to take over from.
Oh, yeah, we've been hearing about that, huh?
No, yesterday he said, I'm still for this. And however, normally when ICE goes in for an operation, they wear masks.
Right.
The president said no mask on this operation.
Well, it's interesting that you mention that because we're still in negotiations and funding the government, and that's part of the negotiations right now is general operations that they demask them, wear name tags, and they actually have to identify themselves to ask their name, which opens up another can of worms because we know this doxing thing that goes on. So, but this is kind of an element that we're seeing come to the surface right now.
It is, and it's, I mean, before I arrest you and shoot you, my name is, Billy Joe Smith. I live at 123 Arnold Way, and my phone number is da-da-da, and my bank account is this and this. Now can I shoot you?
That's good.
Okay, well, anyway, here's what the president said about ICE not wearing masks.
So ICE has done very well. I've requested. Now, you know, I'm a big believer that they should be able to wear masks when they go and hunt down, murderers, criminals, and others. But for purposes of the airport, I've requested that they take off the mask. I don't like it for the airport, and I believe they are willing to do that.
Mr. President, ICE wear masks not at the airport, but they need to do it when they're out in the country.
The people coming into the airport, typically speaking, aren't murderers, killers, drug dealers, etc. There may be a few of them, but there aren't many. They're people that want to come into the country, or that people want to leave the country, go into maybe their home country. So I didn't think it was an appropriate look for an airport. I think it's a very appropriate look when they're out on the street trying to find one of the 11,888 murderers that Sleepy Joe Biden led into our country.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't go away.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, here's an interesting story. All the way back to President Reagan on up, especially on the Republican side, there's been this attempt to do away with the Department of Education.
Right, yeah.
And President Trump started in, and then Doge got involved, and then the whole thing just kind of stopped. Okay, but apparently now the Trump administration has announced in an interagency agreement between the Department of Education and Treasury to move student lending operations to the Treasury, away from the Department of Education. This is a huge move to shut it down. When you move your revenue arm to the Treasury, and the Treasury now will take over all of the student loan programs.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a big move.
Yes.
And whether or not, I suspect, it's just based upon things, but excuse me. I suspect before the president leaves office, this agency will be shut down.
Well, yeah. Now, we've lived to see a day without the Department of Education and with it, because it came into being in 1980.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest, thing that we need to look at is what's happened to test scores since the Department of Education came into existence. They don't go up. No. They just go down.
I think we need to be honest with ourselves. Look, I understand people who are in education. I get all of this, but the bottom line is that we're not performing at international levels. We have the highest per student per capita expenditure for the lowest results. And that has to be thought out.
Well, don't we need more money into the system?
That's always the answer.
Well, that's always the answer, right?
Yeah, so if the Department of Education goes away, it's going to empower states even more, and that's going to be where the battle will be at the state level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but to move the student loan management program from the department to the Department of Treasury is pretty...
That's interesting.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
And then lastly, looks like Senator Mark Wayne Mullen was confirmed yesterday. The vote was 54 to 45, right down party lines. And so he now is replacing Kristi Noem, and he takes over DHS effectively yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
Well, unless he's sworn in today. He's probably sworn in today.
Takes over a department that's not funded, right?
Portions of it, yes.
Yeah.
And then I would say that Senator Thune made a mistake yesterday.
What did he do?
Senator Thune, now, who's the majority leader in the Senate, came to the president and said, let's make a deal where we go ahead and fund airport security, okay, and not ICE. And the president said, no, we're not doing that.
Okay,
and
good.
handed his hat back to him.
Good, yeah.
So it's a little bit of a shakeup. I think that I'm going, why did you do that?
Yeah, why did he?
You know, in the meantime, the president said, don't even give me a DHS program until you sign the SAFE program, you know, which is voter ID. So all this stuff is in the hopper and being mixed around. But I can't believe that Senator Thune came out and said, let's fund DHS minus ICE. Why would he do that?
I don't have it.
It just shows you the pressure.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, those are some of the top stories on your Tuesday morning, the second day of spring break in the state of Oregon, where everybody is gone somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? The roads were busy this morning coming in. I couldn't believe the amount of cars getting in my way.
Were you late?
No! I was trying not to be late, but I made it.
All right, so anyway, I'm looking for that Philadelphia cheesesteak sandwich.
Yeah, man.
We'll be right back.
All right.
'Cause we're all here together, and we all need each other to make it through this life. What would it be like? What would it be like?
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. Nah. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn your something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Okay, well, how you doing out there? 21 minutes now past the hour on your Tuesday, beautiful spring day. One story that kind of is national and then hits our backyard. The Supreme Court conservatives are signaling really quite a big deal as whether or not in several states they're going to allow late mail-in ballots to be counted.
Yeah.
This is huge. And the Supreme Court yesterday offered sharp ideological differences considering Mississippi election law that allows the counting of mail-in ballots received after Election Day. And the high-stakes courts fight that they could have significant impacts for the November midterm elections and determining control of the new Congress. And so they're looking at it very carefully. 14 states. Mississippi is just one of them. 14 states, as well as the District of Columbia and 3 U.S. territories, currently allow the counting of late arriving mail-in ballots, so long as the ballots are postmarked by or before the election day. Okay? You really want to go down a conspiracy road here just for a moment?
Go ahead.
One of the reasons of the consolidation of the post office to processing to Portland from Medford, which has put literally an 8-day delay in a letter arriving across town, is so that if you mail it on Election Day, 8 days later it shows up at the...
That is a conspiracy theory, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's go to what's being looked at right now by the Supreme Court.
Okay, they're saying that they're looking at, no, you can't do this.
Okay, and why are they doing it? Because basically it boils down to which law preempts the other. Because federal law basically says that votes have to be counted by Election Day.
Yes.
And as you pointed out, there are a number of states that allow you to, if you have it at least postmarked by Election Day, doesn't matter when it comes in, they're going to count it.
Yeah.
And so which one is the authority? I think federal law preempts here.
Especially
and that's what
under federal elections.
Exactly.
Okay,
and so that's why the Supreme Court is leaning, or so it seems, leaning in that direction.
So the ruling is expected to come out in June, which is a nice way of saying we're making the decision, but we're going to be out of town when it's released. I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they leave town sometime before all these decisions come out.
Okay.
Could affect voters in states of Oregon and Washington.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So we're on the list.
You know, and ultimately, I know this administration would like to wipe out all mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that's just bunk.
Well, we're nibbling at this. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Okay, so if this ruling comes out of the Supreme Court that 14 states that allow for mail-in ballots to be received after Election Day is voted down, that's going to make a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And which should be a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, which means you're going to have longer lines dropping your ballot off at the box on Election Day, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I remember the good old days going to a polling place, you know, showing my ID, going into one of those little booths, remember, you know, we'd punch things, you know, and then Al Gore would say, you know, what was your intent with that hanging Chad?
Yeah, what was your intent?
Yeah, Chad, he became real popular back then.
Chad was a big guy then.
Yeah, but I remember those good old days.
Chad got Bush elected.
It's true.
Okay. All right. Anyway, that's the one big story, and Oregon's right smack in the middle of this mess.
Yeah.
Not to mention that we haven't heard peep since the Secretary of State said suspicious of 800,000 non-qualifying registered voters in the state of Oregon. Whatever happened to those 800,000?
Where are they? Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on out there this morning. And we have a system. It's kind of a narrow system. It's dropping the temperatures a little bit. Kind of goes up and down, actually mild. Warm today, then back down.
Yeah, low 70s today.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with...
dropping into the upper 50s by tomorrow. So we got a cold front coming in.
Yeah.
And there could be a chance of showers, but not much. Okay, so we're looking at AI. I mean, every day we seem to be talking more and more about it. And it is coming into many different aspects of our life. Well, how about banking? How will AI go into the banking field, and how will it affect us? Well, Tactile co-founder and CEO Make Taro Waymeyer discusses 2026 being the year AI moves into the banking industry. He did this on Fox Business's The Clayman Countdown.
I mean, the stance of the Trump administration favors competition and also innovation over regulation. And I think that's a great thing for the financial sector. And the reason is that I do believe regulation is important if it's needed. And historically, AI was just not good enough. It was not transparent, so you needed regulation. I am actually against regulation if it's not needed anymore. And what happened in the last couple of months is that AI actually performs better now than humans in very complex tasks. And this actually now allows to go down with regulation, so it's the right thing to do. 2026 will be the year where AI will come to financial services. And the reason is also the reason for what we're going to talk about later, the Lobster launch is by now, the AI is so good that if you measure it against the performance of humans, it is for the first time better. And that's why I actually feel, and what we see with benchmarks in our customers, that AI is now actually is ready for Wall Street and for banking. Banks come to us and they ask us, how can we build the AI bank of the future, which means a completely agentic bank without any humans in there. And on the other side, on the spectrum, you have banks that exactly do what you just mentioned, which is actually supercharging the teams and combining teams and collaborating them with AI agents. I think by now the technology is at a stage where banks have to answer that question to themselves.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, look, this is going to require security codes.
Oh, man.
Unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
You're already can be hacked.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
And so I can see where AI will manage banking things probably faster. But does it open the door for corruption and misuse? Absolutely.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so where does that leave the consumer? The consumer is going to you're going to walk around with a little black book in your pocket of security codes because you can't remember them all.
Yeah, we're getting there now, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then if you try to make it easier, and I'll admit to this, I try to make it simple.
Yeah.
And you get warned all the time, don't do that, because if they get one, they get them all.
Well, and then, you know, if you get a new phone these days, it actually has an app that will manage your codes.
Okay.
All your passwords and your codes.
Yeah?
Okay.
How's that going for you?
Well, how do you know that app can't get hacked?
Yes. Yeah.
Why would you ever do this?
Right. Right.
What if you lost your phone, which we've been all known to do, or misplace it?
Here's what I do. I go,
Yeah.
hey, honey, what's our password for blank?
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm a little, you know, I'm a little leery of the speed of AI taking control. The question is, will the various industries get on top of it? And
I got a question for you. Okay, you know, we're seeing AI merge into the financial services, banking and such. Are we going to see AI move into the IRS? Is AI going to be looking at my tax returns? And one day, will I have AI preparing my tax returns?
Yes and yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, too.
I think that the accounting people that have to put their accounting, you know, on the bottom of your return.
Okay.
I do know that the software systems out there for accountants are pretty extensive.
Okay, I have another question.
You just throw in the numbers.
Yes, right. Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay, so if I have AI doing my taxes and the IRS has AI looking at my taxes, when it's time for an audit, does their AI audit my AI?
Oh, well, there you go.
Huh? I don't even have to know about it, do I?
Here's what you ought to do.
What?
Go to your AI app, whichever one you use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And say, how much am I going to get back in tax refund this year?
Yes. That's a great question.
Then fill out your tax.
Okay.
Was it under? Wasn't it under Bill Clinton?
What?
It says he wanted to reduce your taxes down to a postcard.
Oh yeah, the tax code.
Yeah, it was like, how much did you make?
Right.
Fine, send it in.
That's good.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll be right back.
All right.
We're gonna go hoagie hunting. We'll be right back.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Over time, every wall tells a story, but sometimes those stories need a fresh start. At Chris Silva Painting, we specialize in transforming indoor spaces, whether it's your family home or your business workspace. With premium paints, flexible scheduling, and expert attention to detail, we make the process simple and stress-free so you can focus on what matters most, living and working in a space you love. From bold new colors to subtle tones of sophistication, let Chris Silva Painting bring your vision to life, one wall at a time. Chris Chris and his crew are courteous. They're efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960. 541-890-3960.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
That they found out that the Ayatollah and all of his leaders were in one building.
This is not a single overnight operation.
The president has the authority to wage war.
We see Iranian women in the street celebrating, and we see liberal women in the United States protesting. It's interesting. What a dichotomy.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
Welcome back at 27 minutes before the hour. Of course, the Middle East is the big story and will be for a while. The president is in a 5-day suspended ultimatum with Iran. Hopefully, he's saying some talks are going on with Iran leadership. Iran's telling its people no talks are going on. Israel continues to strategically bomb certain areas with the goal in mind to reduce their nuclear program to dust. In the meantime, everybody's on high alert in the Middle East, so let's check in with our friends at CBN News and get the latest from Israel this morning.
No more nukes and shared responsibility for controlling the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has revealed to reporters some of the elements of a possible negotiated deal with Iran to end the conflict. For more insight, Middle East analyst Abdullah Hayek, a senior contributor at Young Voices, joins us. It's good to talk with you again, Abdullah. So Trump says the U.S. is talking with a respected Iranian leader. He claims the Islamic Republic is eager for a deal to end the war. Is the end nearing? What do you think?
I sincerely doubt that the end is nearing. The respected leader that Donald Trump alluded to has been reported in the news that he is the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. And it's obvious that when Ghalibaf went to Twitter today, he rebuked that the U.S. is in talks with them. Personally, I don't believe there's anyone in the regime in Iran right now that can be trusted. They seem to be meeting their own objective of surviving the brutal offensive imposed on them by the Iranians, by the Israelis and the Americans. They seem to be doing well from their end. The terms and the negotiations that were reported, the Iranians saying that they want to share the United States in controlling the Strait of Hormuz, I think that's a very bad idea. The U.S. has cooperated with Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan in the initial days of the war on terror, and then the Iranians turned on the U.S. in the insurgency in Iraq, for example. So I don't think they can be trusted.
Well, most of all the regime's top-tier leaders are dead. Even the second tier, Mojtaba Khamenei, is believed to be incapacitated. So who's running the country? Who is in charge right now?
Well, it's not clear. Mojtaba hasn't made a single appearance since his so-called nomination days after his father, Ali Khamenei, was killed in an Israeli airstrike. We don't know where he is. I personally believe he's either dead or he's severely wounded to even make an appearance. Right now, there's literally, like you said, the first and second tier leadership levels gone, and I think it goes down to the 6th and 7th level. So right now, I think it's all done in special committees by whatever ranking leader in whatever section of government there is. It's unclear right now, but the top leader that seems to have some sort of say in doing so is the Speaker of the Parliament, as I just mentioned earlier.
Well, Trump wants Iran to agree to a complete surrender, no nuclear weapons development. He says they've already agreed to that. And then he insists that they stop supporting proxy militias, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and no oppression of the Iranian people. But as you mentioned earlier, how can he trust them to do that?
Well, they can't be trusted. And those conditions, if met by the U.S., would be catastrophic for the region. The nuclear deal has to be made. Iran cannot obtain nuclear weapons. We've seen the ferociousness and the aggression that they've imposed not on just Israel and military bases of the U.S. in the region, but on its Arab neighbors. Give that a push with a nuclear weapon, God knows what might happen. The proxies are also equally important for Iran because they're a first line of defense. They can deter and impose pressure on Israel and regional allies of the U.S. So the Iranians will just no way, shape, or form surrender that. So I don't think that the deals are beneficial to the U.S. or the region in any way. And I think that we should just keep going forward with what's going on right now because it seems to be making some sort of difference to the better.
So push forward with regime change. I know last week we talked to former Israeli Special Forces Deputy Commander Doron Kempel. He suggested a friendly IRGC general or two may be waiting in the wings to take control of the country. Might that be the respected leader that Trump's referring to about a deal? Is that, or is it the speaker he's talking about? Because if there is a general that's waiting in the wings and poised to take over, might that happen soon? What are your thoughts?
Well, certainly the regime is radical in its entirety, but I believe there remains a few individuals that can be described as pragmatic and reasonable to at least hear or offer their own terms with the U.S. and Israel. Certainly the official that you just mentioned has two generals in mind. They might be pragmatic options that the U.S. can deal with. Well, I don't think that the U.S. objective in Iran ever was regime change. I think that their objective was more or less regime reform or regime rectification. The ones that wanted regime change and regime collapse were the Israelis, and that was evident in the way they targeted Iran. They targeted military, political, civilian targets throughout Iran, and they even struck Iranian energy targets. All of this is intended to put more pressure on the Iranians, whereas the U.S. focused entirely on military targets. So maybe that it was probably a sign by the U.S. that they want to pressure Iran into going into a position that would align with the U.S. strategy, whereas the Israelis just are aiming for an entire regime removal. I think that there might be some sort of small chance that the Iranians might reform. That's for time to tell. But right now, you know, we have two main powers working on Iran militarily, and they both have different objectives.
Okay, trust but verify. Young Voices senior contributor, Middle East analyst Abdullah Hayek. Thank you for sharing your insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Gary.
Well, there you go. I think he points out something that's very significant. We've been now concentrating in the United States, excuse me, appears to taking out military operations. Mm-hmm. Israel has another goal in mind, and that is to completely wipe out the regime. Mm-hmm. Why? They've lived with it for they've lived with it now 78 years mm-hmm. of a constant breach of contract and trust, lie after lie after lie after lie. And they've had enough, and they're not going to tolerate it. And so the door has been open. I think that Israel and the United States are probably talking behind the scenes. You do this, we'll do that. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the regime has to go. Yeah. And we'll just have to play this out, I guess, mm-hmm. so to speak. But now other countries are being impacted by... Sorry, we'll see what goes on there.
Yeah, well, and in the meantime... fuel prices continue to rise.
Yeah, I noticed that. I drove in this morning. I go, gosh, that's a bad dream up on that sign.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I thought somebody got up there. You know where you used to put the numbers up by hand?
Yes.
I thought somebody just kind of turned around, you know. But no, they're digital numbers. You know, somebody typed the wrong number.
Oh, that's funny.
I want to get a great big banner and put up across some of these signs. Really?
Really? Yeah. Remember the banners that you used to put up years ago? Gas wars.
Yeah.
And everybody was cutting their prices, trying to get your business. Oh, the good old days.
The good old days of gas wars.
Oh, man.
All right, here's a good old guy doing a good old job about the good old weather.
A look at our Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon, expect a wet and cool day with widespread rain from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Afternoon highs will be in the mid-50s and lows in the low 40s. Across the Willamette Valley, rain continues through much of the day. Highs will reach into the upper 50s for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 61 in Eugene with a light southwest wind. Cloudy with a chance of showers across central Oregon and daytime high temperatures near 66 in Prineville and low 60s for Bend and Sun River. Mostly cloudy in Boise, Idaho with a high near 77. Rainy and breezy along the coast with daytime highs near 60 in Coos Bay, mid to upper 50s for Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s around Crescent City, California with a gusty south wind. In southern Oregon, partly sunny with a chance of showers and near 68 in Grants Pass, partly to mostly sunny in low 70s for Medford and Ashland, mostly sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 60s. For Northern California, sunny and warmer weather continues. Wairika reaches the low to mid-70s, while Redding, Sacramento, and Chico climb well into the 80s under sunny skies with a light and variable wind. In the Bay Area, sunny skies dominate once again with warm temperatures in the low 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa. San Francisco will see mid-70s with a light west wind, and in San Jose, a high near 82. It's a look at your Tuesday forecast from Grange Co-op.
There's our backyard. Sun's coming up, high clouds over the top. According to our make-believing meteorologist, that's incoming weather.
Yeah, very well done. All right. Well, I don't know about you, but I love big band music. I love swing music. And one of the big stars, obviously, was Glenn Miller. There were a number of Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, and a whole bunch of others. But it was on this day in 1941 that big band leader Glenn Miller stepped into a brand new spotlight, Hollywood. He began work on his first film, Sun Valley Serenade, alongside stars Sonia Henney and John Payne for 20th Century Fox. The movie blended snow skiing, music, romance, and comedy, but it also delivered something unforgettable. It introduced the world to the song Chattanooga Choo Choo. The tune became a massive hit, earning an Academy Award nomination, and went on to become one of the first gold records ever awarded. Miller's signature sound helped define the swing era, and this film brought that energy to the big screen. And the film is now shown 24 hours a day on a dedicated television channel available to all rooms at the Sun Valley Lodge and Inn. I love it. I mean, what could be wrong with that?
Nothing.
A movie about skiing and with swing music. I mean, it's all good.
That's good stuff all the way around. All right. Sam Alberry, he's from Crossway. Crossway is one of the great apologetic organizations in our country. Discusses how we ought to distinguish between our union with Jesus and our communion with Jesus.
Our union with Jesus, as we understand it, just brings into sharper focus so much of the Christian life. And in terms of our daily ongoing walk with Jesus, Jesus says in John 15, we're to remain in him, we're to abide in him. And something Christians over the years have done is distinguish between our union with Jesus and our communion with Jesus. So our union is fixed. We can't change that. We don't sort of float in and out of it. But in our own communion with Jesus, our own relating to him, there are all kinds of ups and downs, and there's seasons of more spiritual intimacy, there's seasons of being distant or disobedient even. So we do need to constantly attend to our communion with Jesus, but our union with Jesus is secure. It's a bit like my relationship with my parents. If I go several weeks without ever talking to them or phoning them or calling them, that doesn't mean I'm not their son. It just might mean I'm not a very good son. And similarly, if I don't read my Bible, if I don't pray, if I'm not trying to hear the voice of Jesus and sort of be conscious of his presence in my life, it doesn't mean I'm not a Christian. But it's probably going to mean that I'm not a very good Christian, because part of how we express our union with Jesus is by, again, hearing his word, being obedient to what he calls us to do, coming to him in prayer, being conscious of him in our lives, relying on him, depending on him, trusting in him. All of those things will help us be healthy as Christians. So my union with Jesus actually helps me to do all of those things, because it means that the sort of foundational things are all in place, and I'm simply unpacking what I've already been given and availing myself of this spiritual privilege of being united to Jesus by actually relating to him and knowing that I can because I'm in him.
So do you commune with him?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gallagher and I did a show yesterday.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, or the second half of our program yesterday. We talked about prayer. And it's really interesting. Prayer is just obviously something that's part of Christendom, and we pray, we do all these things. But we took the time to stop and say, what is it? Why is it at times so hard to do?
Mm-hmm.
Why should we pray when the Bible says he knows what we have need of before we pray?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And why is it that we have forms of prayers, but then all of a sudden you find yourself in a position in life where you're desperate? And that prayer to the Lord is entirely different than anything else you've ever said heretofore, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that in itself creates a new communion with God than what you've had in the past. So if you're in a desperate situation, first of all, God hears that prayer.
Yeah.
And guess what? You don't need a lot of words.
Yeah, well, that's good, because sometimes at those moments we don't have a lot of words. We're struggling.
I would say that the word that you can say to the Lord at any moment that puts everything you have going on in your life into one word.
Okay.
Help.
Help, yes. Yeah, well, yes.
And that word will just surround everything and put it before the Lord. And that's where the Holy Spirit takes over, and his moaning and groaning in your behalf reaches the throne.
Right.
Anyway, there's a little 2 cents. 3, 4.
All right.
Okay, so
cheesesteak.
You know, that's better.
Sorry, man.
I like chocolate-covered raisins. But if I had to choose between the two...
Yeah, I'll take cheesesteak.
Okay, we'll be right back.
All right.
You are invited to the 2026 Access Senior Fair, Tuesday, March 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Rogue X. Over 80 vendor booths offering helpful resources for seniors and their families. Try your luck at a round of bingo complete with prizes. All are welcome at the largest free and fun senior resource fair in Southern Oregon. We'll see you Tuesday, March 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Rogue X.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV. Do events in the world leave you confused? A world where up is down and down is up.
Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
Alerting you to the truth that the mainstream media would rather you not know.
Common sense discussions on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world,
get it straight.
Watch Mornings on the Dove weekdays.
Welcome back. Happy Tuesday to you. 9 minutes before the hour. Yesterday I had Kenneth Abramowitz on. Now, he is quite a guy.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called The Multi-Front War, but he is considered really an expert in a lot of ways in the things that he writes and researches, and he's seen on the other places, but he likes us.
Oh, good. All right.
I asked him a wild, off-the-wall question yesterday. NATO.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
So the president a little upset with NATO these days.
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly. Yeah.
When you guys need help, we're there. When we need help, you talk about it.
Right. Yeah. And he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right with that. So I did ask Kenneth Abramowitz, I said, do you think NATO would survive if the United States pulled out and it wasn't a member of NATO?
Yeah.
Would it survive?
Okay.
His answer is kind of interesting. Listen to this.
The answer is yes. It would survive because the Europeans would be forced to spend more money. Even the bad prime ministers would be forced to spend more money to buy more weapons, to train more soldiers, to fill the void left by American money and America armaments. So yes, they would fill the void. Like anything in military, it takes 5 to 10 years. Because it's not like, we're all used to going to Amazon and you buy a book and 2 days later it's at your door. Well, you don't just buy, so to speak, or train 10,000 soldiers or 50,000 soldiers. You don't just go to Amazon and buy 100 F-35s or 2 aircraft carriers.
Yeah.
These are huge lead time products. And so, yes, they would fill the void. But that would provoke a secondary issue. You want to know what the secondary issue is?
Yes. You set me up for your own question. Go for it, man.
Yes. Now that you asked, let me answer your question.
Okay, go ahead.
England and France are slowly being taken over by Muslim terror organizations. They also those countries have nuclear weapons. So if we say to NATO, become stronger, spend more money on weapons and everything, and then they get taken over by Muslim countries, we're going to have an even bigger mess, I hate to say this, fighting England and France in 25 years when they point their nuclear weapons to us under Muslim control. That's another reason why I say we have to get rid of those governments and bring in real patriots to run those countries, not the corrupt people that we have that they have now.
Talking about England and France, those two leaders need to go. They're just flat corrupt.
He's pretty good at interviewing himself, too.
Yeah, he kind of caught me off guard, but he won.
That was cool, man. Yeah, all right. Well, it started as a class project, but with compassion, it turned into a life-changing breakthrough. This is great. Check it out. After a motorcycle accident left college student Van McGuire paralyzed, the outdoor lifestyle he loved, hiking, camping, and exploring, suddenly felt out of reach. That's because traditional wheelchairs just couldn't handle the rough terrain. But then, a group of engineering students at Tennessee Tech stepped in. Braden Hopper, John Avery, and Luke White took on the challenge, designing and building a custom all-terrain wheelchair they call the Chariot. The result? A rugged, powerful chair built to go where standard wheelchairs can't. Now, McGuire is back outdoors, regaining the freedom he thought he'd lost. He calls it a blessing, saying simply, "It gives me back my legs." What began as a classroom assignment became something much bigger, a reminder that innovation and a little compassion can truly change a life.
So those are 2 electric mountain bikes.
Yes, side by side with the seat between them, and they rigged up the steering so he could get at it, and it looks really durable. They may have a new product there.
There you go.
Man.
1 John chapter 4, verse 20 is a good scripture for you today. Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or a sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God, whom they have not seen. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it right today. Things will go a whole lot better.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
The 71.5 Golf Challenge arrives Saturday, May 16th with a 4-person scramble, morning and afternoon shotguns, and a 6:30 awards social. Register your team by April 1st for an early bird special. Score the team player pack for just $20 instead of $100 with the code EARLYBIRDIE. Become a sponsor and help kids across Southern Oregon. Visit 715.org or call 541-779-3275. At the 71.5 Golf Challenge, your drive saves lives.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Grab a cup of coffee
and start your day right.
Join us for Mornings on the Dove.
Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, the second day of spring vacation, at least here in the state of Oregon.
Yes. Oh, and I like this wide shot, and it was pointed out by Dan really well. He says, this morning's episode of Mornings on the Dove brought to you by Claritin. Look at this set.
Everybody's sneezing.
Are we spring or what? We're surrounded by pollen.
Boy, those big trees out here.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, you can just smell it when you walk out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. We have that for you. We'll check it out. In the meantime, the weather is kind of a mixed bag. Nice, pleasant temperature, threatening rain.
Yeah, a little bit.
Stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
So,
yes.
Anyway, anything special today?
Well, this is an important day because it is American Diabetes Association Alert Day.
Wow.
It's a one-day wake-up call informing Americans about the seriousness of diabetes and encourage all of us to take the diabetes risk test and learn about your family's history of diabetes. And I don't know much about my family's history about diabetes. Mom, we're going to talk later.
Mom, he eats too much sugar. Mom, anything around here that has sugar on it, you'll see it in him.
It's hard to avoid. It really is. We're still, we're just on the last remnants of those peanut clusters. Oh, those are.
Thank you, Barb.
Yeah. Oh, those have been so good. Anyway, so it's Alert Day, and I hope that you'll take heed. Also, National Cheesesteak Day. If we're gonna have something to eat, this is something of substance. But the great debate about this sandwich is who is the originator. Now, credit is being given to a hot dog vendor from the 1930s. His name's Pat Olivieri, and according to Philadelphia's tourism site, of course, Pat's King of Steaks sits on its original location and is still going strong. But of course, when it comes to cheesesteak sandwiches, the key is the hoagie roll filled with chipped steak, and of course, cheese and onions, maybe some bell peppers. What, anything else in there that you'd like to see?
Yeah.
What?
Horseradish.
Horseradish would work extremely well. So enjoy your cheesesteak. And the only thing we have for dessert are chocolate-covered raisins. It's Chocolate-Covered Raisin Day, celebrating raisins coated in a shell of either milk chocolate or dark chocolate. Of course, more antioxidants, and the moviegoers have been snacking on chocolate-covered raisins for many years. And somehow popcorn and a box of chocolate-covered raisins go together perfectly. And it doesn't matter what kind of movie you're at. Chocolate-covered raisins are also a conventional bulk vending item across the country. But in other countries, chocolate-covered raisins are known as Raisinets. And Raisinets produced the first and is one of the most popular brands of the product, and it is currently made by Nestle. They are the third largest selling candy in U.S. history, and the Blumenthal Chocolate Company introduced the Raisinets to the United States in 1927, and then in '84 they were bought out by Nestle. And the number of other brands producing chocolate-covered raisins for us to enjoy are plentiful, including the famous Goobers. Goobers, yeah, chocolate-covered raisins.
Goobers.
Yeah.
I think that's the nickname of our meteorologist. Goober. Kind of fits, doesn't it?
A look at our Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon, expect a wet and cool day with widespread rain from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Afternoon highs will be in the mid-50s and lows in the low 40s. Across the Willamette Valley, rain continues through much of the day. Highs will reach into the upper 50s for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 61 in Eugene with a light southwest wind. Cloudy with a chance of showers across central Oregon and daytime high temperatures near 66 in Prineville and low 60s for Bend and Sun River. Mostly cloudy in Boise, Idaho with a high near 77. Rainy and breezy along the coast with daytime highs near 60 in Coos Bay, mid to upper 50s for Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s around Crescent City, California with a gusty south wind. In southern Oregon, partly sunny with a chance of showers and near 68 in Grants Pass, partly to mostly sunny in low 70s for Medford and Ashland, mostly sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 60s. For Northern California, sunny and warmer weather continues. Wairika reaches the low to mid-70s, while Redding, Sacramento, and Chico climb well into the 80s under sunny skies with a light and variable wind. In the Bay Area, sunny skies dominate once again with warm temperatures in the low 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa. San Francisco will see mid-70s with a light west wind, and in San Jose, a high near 82. It's a look at your Tuesday forecast from Grange Co-op.
There's a picture of our valley. Beautiful green valley this morning. Sun is brightening things up, and we do have some high clouds over the top, which indicates what he just said, the possibility of a drop turning to 3 drops by this afternoon.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, a slight chance. That's what it boils down to, doesn't it? All right. Well, you know, I think we've all been in the situation where we think, oh, no, this is looking bad. There's no hope here. So where do you think that thought comes from? Who plants that in your brain? Well, it isn't the Lord. It only comes to us from the enemy. But hang on. Here is some great encouragement with Pastor Jack Graham.
When Satan comes against you, when you start talking yourself crazy talk, things that are silly, it's not even true about yourself, counteract it by the Word of God and what God says about you. You are a child of God. So many people during times of depression feel so worthless and weak. But you're not worthless and weak. You're stronger than you think. I can do all things through Christ. Now, sometimes It's just putting one foot in front of the other. It's just getting up when you feel like laying down. I learned what I'd preached in the past, and that is we do not feel our way into acting, we act our way into feeling. That's faith. We start believing what God says and instead of what we say. We hear the still small voice. That's what happened to Elijah. God spoke to him. It was revelation. God gave him another word. God gave him a challenge. Do you know what many depressed people need? If you're depressed, you know what you may need? You need a new mission in your life. You need a new challenge in your life. And God's using this season to prepare you for something bigger, something greater, or something else. He's preparing you. So listen to him. Someone said to me, they were just talking really about the prostate cancer I had, but said to me, and it said something like this: Jack, I'm praying that you'll learn everything you need to know, what you need to learn from this experience. That was good advice, good counsel. And I learned a lot of things, and so will you. I learned God's word, to stand on God's promises even more. And I'll give you one of them. This is something to hang on and hope on. Jeremiah 29:11. Somebody watching me right now, someone listening to me right now, you need this because you wonder if you have a future. For I know the plans for you, says the Lord. Plans not to harm you. Plans not to hurt you. Plans for your welfare and for your good. God has a future and a hope for you.
Yeah. What a promise.
Yeah.
Great promise. All right, good morning to you. 8 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. Of course, Iran still very, very much in the news. While the president has called for a 5-day hiatus on his ultimatum in talking with the leadership of Iran, Israel continues to bomb significantly all over the place, and which is very interesting. In the meantime, the leaders in Iran are telling their citizens there is no talks with the United States. The president says we are talking. And Iran's telling the people we're not talking.
Yeah.
So it's the typical, back and forth things that you do with Iran. Can you trust them?
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of 5 days, then what?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that he desires to reduce Iran's nuclear capability to dust. So we'll see what happens. And Israel, over the last 2 days, struck the main security headquarters of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So they're closing in on this thing.
Yeah, and now one of the things that they're talking about not bombing are power plants and desalinization plants.
Right.
They need water to continue. And that they were a little worried that actually Iran would be bombing some of the desalinization plants of their neighbors, their Arab neighbors.
Right.
And that would make things much more difficult. But let's see if they can have restraint in this situation.
Well, the president in his ultimatum said he was looking at electric plants.
Yes, exactly.
And of course, do we understand the pattern of the president? He says all these things, he gets everybody on the table, yak, and then he pulls back.
And he pulls back, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So that's a pattern I think we need to see here. But apparently they're talking. But I think we have to be honest here. Iran is not going to unconditionally surrender.
Right. I think you're right.
So the question is, how do you complete this operation?
Yes. Yeah.
And we're kind of in that stage. The president keeps saying, well, we're within days of ending the war. I don't see that.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, I don't think we're within days either. And now, remember when this operation started, the president informed the people of Iran that they should probably hunker down, and he'll let them know when it's safe to come out and overturn the government. Are we still waiting for that?
Yes.
What's going on?
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah.
There's just so many unknowns going on. But apparently they are talking. Israel and the United States are talking in some kind of a coordinating effort. You do this, we'll do that.
Okay.
We're in this 5-day holding period, so we'll see where that goes.
Right.
In the meantime, the UK is basically saying Putin is the hidden hand in Iran's war tactics. And when you look at the drones that Iran is using, most of those drones did come from Russia. So what do you do with that? I don't know. They're still coming in, but they came from.
I don't know.
And so the Russian President Vladimir Putin is called the hidden hand in guiding Iran's military at the moment, says the UK Defense Secretary John Healey said just a couple of hours ago, just as a short clip, but he said this a couple of hours ago about President Putin's hand in helping Iran.
Established growing axis of aggression, haven't we, between Russia and Iran? We've seen the way that Russia has fired nearly 60,000 Iran-style drones into Ukraine, and we see from Iran some of the same tactics we see from Russia in Iran.
So what do you do with that?
I don't know. Let me ask you this. How long has this conflict in Ukraine been going on?
Well, what, 3 years now?
Yeah. So does Iran really want Russian help in this? Because they haven't done the job very well, have they?
Zelensky from Ukraine is saying that Russia's involved in this deeply.
Yeah.
And he's there to help the United States with whatever they can do in the midst of their own war.
Yeah.
So is that just putting ideological pressure on making Putin the bad guy?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, you have the UK and France that don't know where true north is.
Oh, true, yes.
They have lost everything going on.
They've lost their way, yes.
So they're throwing words out there.
Yes.
So anyway, in the meantime, as you know, TSA agents are not getting paid.
Right.
By the way, can I suggest something?
Yeah, please.
If you're traveling through an airport,
okay,
would you thank a TSA agent for coming to work with not being paid?
Yes.
I think some airports are putting up tip boxes.
No kidding. No.
So you can tip them.
Really? What's an appropriate tip, I wonder?
I don't know, but you know, 10 cents is at least an acknowledgement.
Right.
So if you're going through a TSA line, thank those people. They've been there now over a month without a paycheck. How would you do without a month without a paycheck?
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, and I heard one of our representatives, Congress, said, you know, they're talking about not paying Congress, you know, he says, if I don't get paid, I'm not going to be able to make my house payment, my mortgage payment. People are saying, okay, listen, TSA agents haven't been able to do that for quite some time now. And what makes you so special?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in the meantime, you know, the president's thinking about sending ICE into some of the major airports to speed up the TSA lines.
Yeah.
And normally when when ICE goes out on an operation, they wear masks.
Right.
But he's saying, no, under these considerations, I would think they shouldn't wear a mask. And here's what he had to say.
So ICE has done very well. I've requested. Now, you know, I'm a big believer that they should be able to wear masks when they go and hunt down, you know, murderers, criminals, and others. But for purposes of the airport, I've requested that they take off the mask. I don't like it for the airport, and I believe they are willing to do that.
Mr. President, ICE wear masks, not at the airport, but they need to do it when they're out in the country.
The people coming into the airport, typically speaking, aren't murderers, killers, drug dealers, etc. There may be a few of them, but there aren't many. They're people that want to come into the country, or that people want to leave the country, go into maybe their home country. So I didn't think it was an appropriate look for an airport. I think it's a very appropriate look when they're out on the street trying to find one of the 11,888 murderers that Sleepy Joe Biden led into our country.
Well, they've yet to be deployed, but I think we could see it.
Yeah.
Majority Leader Senator Thune in the Senate proposed funding DHS anyway without ICE. And he got his hat handed back to him from the president.
Good. All right.
Yeah, like, you know, go take a shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of a blow. And I don't even know where he even came up with this idea.
Yeah. But what a weird turning of events. You know, we got Democrats shutting down the government because they don't like the policies with ICE.
Yeah.
So they don't fund TSA. TSA now is bleeding off the job. We don't have guys coming in, men and women who are staying home. So now the president says, okay, let's send the ICE in. I mean, it's just a weird circle that's going on here.
Yeah, and I think that Senator Kennedy said something yesterday, and I haven't followed through with it.
Okay.
But apparently there is a way around this, a procedural way around getting DHS funded.
I heard him as well.
And I haven't looked into it, but apparently there's something on the table.
Yep.
Well, as you know, just about every, President Reagan was the first one that came up with this, and he wanted to get rid of the Department of Education. Others have come and gone, but in the meantime, as you know, when the president first took over, he really went after the Department of Education and appointed a secretary of the Department of Education to basically shut it down. It was moving fast and forward when they found a lot of fraud inside, and then all of a sudden it just stopped.
Yeah.
Doge came along, all that stuff happened, and it just stopped. Well, yesterday, the Trump administration announced an interagency agreement between the Department of Education and the Treasury Department to move student lending operations to the Treasury, which will assume operational responsibility for collecting defaulted federal student loan debt and provide operational support to the Department of Education's efforts to return borrowers to repayment. So this is a major, major blow to the Department of Education.
Absolutely. A department that was created by pretty much a failed president, Jimmy Carter. Very unpopular president. Obviously, he was swept out after one term. But is this part of his legacy? Because he created the Department of Education.
Yeah, I mean, it was billions of dollars and thousands of employees.
Yeah, we all heard what Bill Bennett used to say about it, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. He'd probably be pretty pleased at this push.
Well, I really suspect that the Department of Education will be eliminated before Trump leaves office in 2 more years.
Yeah.
3 years, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
The problem is we have the highest per capita money spent per student in the world with the lowest
return on it, yeah.
Well, the lowest
testing,
scores.
yeah.
So something has to be done.
Yep.
It'll go back to the states and it'll get argued there, pretty much like Roe versus Wade did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then late yesterday afternoon, Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen is now the new Treasury Secretary, not Treasury, Department of Homeland Security Secretary, replacing Kristi Noem. And he'll probably be sworn in today in the Oval Office. And away he goes.
Did him and Rand Paul get over it?
Somebody did. The vote was 54 to 45.
Okay, I know who 45 was. Rand Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a exchange. Rand Paul voted against him.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
What's his name?
Oh, Fetterman.
Fetterman voted for him.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the ground's kind of no-nonsense guy.
I think so, yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Anyway, those are some of the top stories on this second day of spring vacation.
Yep.
As Jerry wants to go buzz around some of these flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sneeze.
Just don't call me Goober.
Okay. We'll be right back.
We are desperate for your hand. We're reaching out. We're reaching out.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV.
22 past the hour, some backyard national news. How about that?
Okay.
The Supreme Court is heard arguments for 2 hours yesterday as to whether or not 14 states in the United States should be allowed to count ballots arriving after Election Day. And from the oral arguments, it looks like the Supreme Court's really down on this.
Yep.
And that if you vote and you send, even though your ballot may be postmarked the day of the election, it may not arrive at the election counting department maybe a week late, such is the case here in Medford.
Yep.
You mail a letter, it goes to Portland, processed, and comes back.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So they're saying this is wrong.
Yeah.
Not only that, might even open up things for unbelievable fraud.
Oh, it's got such potential. It's amazing. And I think this just boils down, and the Supreme Court is looking at this based on 2 things, and that's federal law and state law. Federal law basically indicates that it's got to be done by Election Day.
Yeah.
State laws don't preempt federal law, do they?
You know, that's the 10th Amendment argument.
There you go.
So we'll see how they rule on this. But I will say this, it includes Oregon.
It sure does. I mean, we live on mail-in ballots, don't we?
We do.
Yep.
So this will be a huge deal with the 2026 midterm elections. And if this ruling comes down, Oregon and Washington are caught in this net. We'll see what happens. If your ballot isn't into your county clerk's office by 8 o'clock Election Day, it's not going to get counted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're proposing.
Right. Well, yeah. And it's interesting, too. You know, we've been in this state, 31, 32 years now? Never seen a Republican elected to governor of this state since I've lived here. 31 years.
Yeah.
How about that? Well, I'd say their little mail-in thing is working, huh?
Well, you get close. We've had a couple close.
We get close.
But never enough. Yeah. But look, I think that the mail-in ballot, we all know it's problematic.
Yeah.
But moreover, are votes that can come in late.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what makes Oregon such an interesting problem is that our own Secretary of State said roughly 800,000 names need to come off the voter rolls.
Right. And when
we don't know if it's happening.
When a ballot comes in to the state, how do you know that it was actually handled by the real voter?
I don't know.
How do they determine that?
Why don't we purge the voter rolls? I don't.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yep.
All right, so that's a little bit of a national backyard story. Let's take a look at Wall Street on this Tuesday morning. Thank you, Preston, over at Smart Lawn. By the way, he was out at the garden show being smart. Well, anyway, the Dow's not happy this morning, went the other direction, back down 249 points. The Nas is off 167, and the S&P down 35 points. So the continuing saga of the Middle East, keeping the Dow from being happy. That gold's down 43.71. Boy, you know, it's down $700.
Oh man. Yeah.
Silver's down to 68. Crude oil is back up, $99.64 a barrel.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we're all kind of still in shock watching the events that unfolded at LaGuardia Airport, New York City, with the most recent crash there. But FAA's Brian Bedford spoke to the press about the conditions during the crash at New York City's LaGuardia Airport.
What I can share with you, of course, the weather conditions last night were moderate winds out of 050 at 7 knots. We had broken ceilings at 9,000 feet. Visibility roughly 4 miles in raining conditions, so there was mist and fog here at the LaGuardia Airport last night. we had a situation with United Airlines aircraft that had experienced an aborted takeoff. This is the reason why the fire and rescue crew had been deployed. Of course, the Air Canada flight was arriving on runway 4 when the incident took place at the Delta intersection. Again, I want to extend my sympathies to the families of the two pilots. These were two young men at the start of their careers, so it's an absolute tragedy, that we're sitting here, with their loss. So my heart really goes out to the families for sure. But we are committed to a full, transparent investigation. We will support the NTSB in any way possible. And again, we look forward to being able to take concrete actions to ensure something like this will never happen again. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's video out now.
Okay.
Of the actual scene.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I can say is you take that airplane, it's committed to land.
Yeah.
It's landing.
Yeah.
And the controller in the tower is yelling at the fire truck. I think he called it Fire Truck 1, stop. Fire Truck 1, stop, stop, stop. And he kept going. And so he left what they call the Delta taxiway, crossed into the runway of 4, I think he said it was. And
so there are two different controllers dealing with this. One's dealing with the plane and one's dealing with the fire truck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But the plane was committed. There's nothing the plane could have done,
right,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was on the ground. It's doing its rollout. And what are you going to do? I mean, you've already reduced power. You're talking tenths of a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's really a tragic all the way around. All right, 28 and a half minutes past the hour, and Jerry's still looking for his cheesesteak sandwich. He wants onions on it, peppers on it.
That'll do, yeah. Cheese, and of
what
course
kind of cheese?
I don't care. Provolone, cheddar, I really don't care. It's all good. Surprise me.
Okay, you like mayo on it?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you like hot sauce?
Oh, sure.
What kind?
Okay.
Uh-huh. When you have your next operation on your leg,
yeah. Yeah.
Most people, can't eat for 24 hours before you have an operation.
Yes.
Your doctor, after you go for your pre-exam, he's going to say, Jerry, no hot sauce for a month.
If that's what the doctor orders.
Okay. We'll be right back.
List of things they shouldn't do, so I build a city on a hill and I light a candle on the sill, knowing you'll be always knocking at the door. Oh God, I just want to love.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Over time, every wall tells a story, but sometimes those stories need a fresh start. At Chris Silva Painting, we specialize in transforming indoor spaces, whether it's your family home or your business workspace. With premium paints, flexible scheduling, and expert attention to detail, we make the process simple and stress-free so you can focus on what matters most, living and working in a space you love. From bold new colors to subtle tones of sophistication, let Chris Silva Painting bring your vision to life, one wall at a time. Chris and his crew are courteous. They're efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960. 541-890-3960.
All right. Well, half past the hour on Tuesday morning, and beautiful second day of spring vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really, it's the 4th.
Yeah, true, because the weekend counts, right?
Well, yeah, it started Friday.
Yeah.
Nobody was at work Friday, so anyways, that Friday,
Nobody
Saturday,
was to work.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's the 5th. Anyway, good morning to you. Well, the Middle East, Israel, Iran, surrounding countries, Sunnis versus Shiites, Israelis versus radical Islam.
Yeah.
United States in the middle of that. It couldn't get more confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's check in with our friends at CBN News and get the latest from Israel.
No more nukes and shared responsibility for controlling the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has revealed to reporters some of the elements of a possible negotiated deal with Iran to end the conflict. For more insight, Middle East analyst Abdullah Hayek, a senior contributor at Young Voices, joins us. It's good to talk with you again, Abdullah. So Trump says the U.S. is talking with a respected Iranian leader. He claims the Islamic Republic is eager for a deal to end the war. Is the end nearing? What do you think?
I sincerely doubt that the end is nearing. The respected leader that Donald Trump alluded to has been reported in the news that he is the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. And it's obvious that when Ghalibaf went to Twitter today, he rebuked that the U.S. is in talks with them. Personally, I don't believe there's anyone in the regime in Iran right now that can be trusted. They seem to be meeting their own objective of surviving the brutal offensive imposed on them by the Iranians, by the Israelis and the Americans. They seem to be doing well from their end. The terms and the negotiations that were reported, the Iranians saying that they want to share the United States in controlling the Strait of Hormuz, I think that's a very bad idea. The U.S. has cooperated with Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan in the initial days of the war on terror, and then the Iranians turned on the U.S. in the insurgency in Iraq, for example. So I don't think they can be trusted.
Well, most of all the regime's top-tier leaders are dead. Even the second tier, Mojtaba Khamenei, is believed to be incapacitated. So who's running the country? Who is in charge right now?
Well, it's not clear. Mojtaba hasn't made a single appearance since his so-called nomination days after his father, Ali Khamenei, was killed in an Israeli airstrike. We don't know where he is. I personally believe he's either dead or he's severely wounded to even make an appearance. Right now, there's literally, like you said, first and second tier leadership levels gone, and I think it goes down to the 6th and 7th level. So right now, I think it's all done in special committees by whatever ranking leader in whatever section of government there is. It's unclear right now, but the top leader that seems to have some sort of say in doing so is the Speaker of the Parliament, as I just mentioned earlier.
Well, Trump wants Iran to agree to a complete surrender, no nuclear weapons development. He says they've already agreed to that. And then he insists that they stop supporting proxy militias, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and no oppression of the Iranian people. But as you mentioned earlier, how can he trust them to do that?
Well, they can't be trusted. And those conditions, if met by the U.S., would be catastrophic for the region. The nuclear deal has to be made. Iran cannot obtain nuclear weapons. We've seen the ferociousness and the aggression that they've imposed not on just Israel and military bases of the U.S. in the region, but on its Arab neighbors. Give that a push with a nuclear weapon, God knows what might happen. The proxies are also equally important for Iran because they're a first line of defense. They can deter and impose pressure on Israel and regional allies of the U.S. So the Iranians will just no way, shape, or form surrender that. So I don't think that the deals are beneficial to the U.S. or the region in any way. And I think that we should just keep going forward with what's going on right now because it seems to be making some sort of difference to the better.
So push forward with regime change. I know last week we talked to former Israeli Special Forces Deputy Commander Doron Kempel. He suggested a friendly IRGC general or two may be waiting in the wings to take control of the country. Might that be the respected leader that Trump's referring to about a deal? Is that, or is it the speaker he's talking about? Because if there is a general that's waiting in the wings and poised to take over, might that happen soon? What are your thoughts?
Well, certainly the regime is radical in its entirety, but I believe there remains a few individuals that can be described as pragmatic and reasonable to at least hear or offer their own terms with the U.S. and Israel. Certainly the official that you just mentioned has two generals in mind. They might be pragmatic options that the U.S. can deal with. Well, I don't think that the U.S. objective in Iran ever was regime change. I think that their objective was more or less regime reform or regime rectification. The ones that wanted regime change and regime collapse were the Israelis, and that was evident in the way they targeted Iran. They targeted military, political, civilian targets throughout Iran, and they even struck Iranian energy targets. All of this is intended to put more pressure on the Iranians, whereas the U.S. focused entirely on military targets. So maybe that it was probably a sign by the U.S. that they want to pressure Iran into going into a position that would align with the U.S. strategy, whereas the Israelis just are aiming for an entire regime removal. I think that there might be some sort of small chance that the Iranians might reform. That's for time to tell. But right now, you know, we have two main powers working on Iran militarily, and they both have different objectives.
Okay, trust but verify. Young Voices senior contributor, Middle East analyst Abdullah Hayek. Thank you for sharing your insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Gary.
Well, there you go. I think what we're hearing here is the objectives, the immediate objective differences between Israel and the United States. The United States needs to be neutralized, anything militarily. And it seems like Israel is really zeroed in on eliminating all nukes and the regime.
Right. And we heard a very familiar phrase there that keeps coming back at us: trust but verify.
Yeah,
the words of Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, good stuff all the way around. Let's check out Trust But Verify weather.
A look at our Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon, expect a wet and cool day with widespread rain from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Afternoon highs will be in the mid-50s and lows in the low 40s. Across the Willamette Valley, rain continues through much of the day. Highs will reach into the upper 50s for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 61 in Eugene with a light southwest wind. Cloudy with a chance of showers across central Oregon and daytime high temperatures near 66 in Prineville and low 60s for Bend and Sun River. Mostly cloudy in Boise, Idaho with a high near 77. Rainy and breezy along the coast with daytime highs near 60 in Coos Bay, mid to upper 50s for Port Orford and Brookings, and low 60s around Crescent City, California with a gusty south wind. In southern Oregon, partly sunny with a chance of showers and near 68 in Grants Pass, partly to mostly sunny in low 70s for Medford and Ashland, mostly sunny in the Klamath Basin with highs in the upper 60s. For Northern California, sunny and warmer weather continues. Wairika reaches the low to mid-70s, while Redding, Sacramento, and Chico climb well into the 80s under sunny skies with a light and variable wind. In the Bay Area, sunny skies dominate once again with warm temperatures in the low 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa. San Francisco will see mid-70s with a light west wind, and in San Jose, a high near 82. It's a look at your Tuesday forecast from Grange Co-op.
Well, there you go. Nice shot of our sunrise this morning. We had some clouds moving in, according to, Goober here as to...
Yeah. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Okay, well, you like big band music, swing music?
Yeah.
Yeah? How about snow skiing?
What?
You like snow skiing too?
Snow skiing?
Yeah, I mean it's a good healthy thing, right?
Yeah.
Now what a great combination for a movie, you know? Snow skiing and big band swing. Well, guess what? On this day, 1941, big band leader Glenn Miller stepped into a brand new spotlight, Hollywood, and they made this. He began work on his first film, Sun Valley Serenade, alongside stars Sonia Henney and John Payne for 20th Century Fox. The movie blended snow skiing, music, romance, and comedy, but it also delivered something unforgettable. It introduced the world to the song Chattanooga Choo Choo. The tune became a massive hit, earning an Academy Award nomination, and went on to become one of the first gold records ever awarded. Miller's signature sound helped define the swing era, and this film brought that energy to the big screen. And the film is now shown 24 hours a day on a dedicated television channel available to all rooms at the Sun Valley Lodge and Inn. And if I was staying at that inn, I'd have it running 24/7. Yeah, I'd just turn it on and let it go. Oh, man.
You ever skied Sun Valley?
I have never skied Sun Valley. I've been there one time in the summertime and looked. I was like, this would be an awesome place to ski.
Oh, it is.
I've never been there in the winter.
When you're driving there, you kind of go, where's the mountain?
Yeah, and then you got to head north off of the interstate there. Yeah, I know. Going up to Ketchum. Yep.
Then you get there and you kind of go, but the airport. You ever seen the airport?
No.
Gosh.
No.
It's loaded with private jets.
Really? Well, you know, it's interesting, too, because the popularity of that film helped fill in the core for they had the ski corps in World War II. A lot of guys, after they saw this film, started enlisting. They wanted to be in the ski troops, and they trained at Sun Valley. That's where they did it. After the war, one of the servicemen who served in World War II, a guy named Warren Miller, moved to Sun Valley, Idaho. He had one of those little teardrop trailers behind his car. Him and a buddy, they lived in the parking lot for 2 years, sleeping in the parking lot of Sun Valley. And he used all his spare money to start buying film for a movie camera. And he started filming skiers on the hill, and turned into Warren Miller Industries, Warren Miller Films. And he is the iconic ski filmmaker, and it all started at Sun Valley, Idaho.
Well, there you go.
How about
trivia
that?
there?
Oh yeah.
A little Jeopardy thing.
I'm very trivial, huh?
Yeah. Well, Jerry skiing for 400.
No, I'll take Jerry's broken for 200.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Sam Alberry, he's with Crossway, another outstanding apologetic organization, discusses distinguishing the difference between our union with Jesus and our communion with Jesus. Here's what he had to say.
Our union with Jesus, as we understand it, just brings into sharper focus so much of the Christian life. And in terms of our daily ongoing walk with Jesus, Jesus says in John 15, we're to remain in him, we're to abide in him. And something Christians over the years have done is distinguish between our union with Jesus and our communion with Jesus. So our union is fixed. We can't change that. We don't sort of float in and out of it. But in our own communion with Jesus, our own relating to him, there are all kinds of ups and downs, and there's seasons of more spiritual intimacy, there's seasons of being distant or disobedient even. So we do need to constantly attend to our communion with Jesus, but our union with Jesus is secure. It's a bit like my relationship with my parents. If I go several weeks without ever talking to them or phoning them or calling them, that doesn't mean I'm not their son. It just might mean I'm not a very good son. And similarly, if I don't read my Bible, if I don't pray, if I'm not trying to hear the voice of Jesus and sort of be conscious of his presence in my life, it doesn't mean I'm not a Christian. but it's probably going to mean that I'm not a very good Christian, because part of how we express our union with Jesus is by, again, hearing his word, being obedient to what he calls us to do, coming to him in prayer, being conscious of him in our lives, relying on him, depending on him, trusting in him. All of those things will help us be healthy as Christians. So my union with Jesus actually helps me to do all of those things, because it means that the sort of foundational things are all in place, and I'm simply unpacking what I've already been given and availing myself of this spiritual privilege of being united to Jesus by actually relating to him and knowing that I can because I'm in him.
Yeah. Good stuff. Just makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We're going to stop and hunt.
The 71.5 Golf Challenge arrives Saturday, May 16th with a 4-person scramble, morning and afternoon shotguns, and a 6:30 award social. Register your team by April 1st for an early bird special. Score the team player pack for just $20 instead of $100 with the code EARLYBIRDIE. Become a sponsor and help kids across Southern Oregon. Visit 715.org or call 541-779-3275. At the 71.5 Golf Challenge, your drive saves lives.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
But it's just hard to believe that the United Nations goes into this Emergency Security Council to condemn the war on a nation that has killed 40,000 plus of its own people.
For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted, quote, "Death to America."
What good is the United Nations?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m.
All right, welcome back. Yesterday I had the opportunity to have Kenneth Abramowitz back with us. Quite a guy. I mean, you see him on some of the big networks out there, but he likes us. And it's kind of like, I have the relationship with him like I have with Alan Dershowitz.
I was going to say, yep, your buddy.
I mean, here we are, small potatoes, but these guys like talking to us.
Absolutely.
So we have a good time.
It's
anyway,
amazing when you let people talk. You ask them a question, you let them finish. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that from somebody else.
All
Okay.
right.
Anyway, I did ask him, I said, since NATO isn't doing much in the way of action to help us, or neither are any of the Gulf states helping us, especially when it comes to, everybody's saying, well, we're there, we want to help you with
We support you, yeah.
Yeah, we support you, but they're not doing anything.
Right.
So I asked him a simple question. I said, so Ken, do you think we're in this all alone? Here's what he said.
We in Israel are in there by ourselves.
Right.
America is blowing up about 500 targets a day, and Israel's blowing up about 500 targets a day. So it's a very good joint venture between Israel and America. And unfortunately, everybody else is nowhere to be found. So it's a very sad situation, but it's gratifying. If you look at it in religious terms, America's a 90% Christian country, Israel's an 80% Jewish country. So in religious terms, Christians from American pilots and Jewish Israeli pilots are together blowing up what I call the Iranian Islamo-Nazi death cult to save all Christians, all Jews, and all Muslims, Sunni Muslims, in the Gulf from this death cult. So I call it World War III, and it's gratifying to see that everybody but everybody is focused on destroying Iran, which has to be destroyed because it's an irreconcilable death cult. It's like Nazi Germany on steroids. And therefore it has to be eliminated to set an example to all future death cults. People will forget, but to the extent they remember, all future death cults have to know that you will be eliminated in the end. Sunnis and Shiites have been fighting for 1,400 years.
Yeah, right.
So this is nothing new for them. And because they dispute who should have followed Muhammad upon his death roughly in the year 630. So they've been fighting about that. And approximately 85% of Muslims are Sunni and 15% are Shiite. So the Shiites are the minority. And the Sunnis are livid and angry, but they're not blowing up Iran. They're leaving it to the Christians and Jews to blow up Iran. Now, one obvious question is, the Sunnis hate the Shiites for 1,400 years. Why aren't they blowing up Iran? And the answer is that they're not sure that Iran's going to be 100% defeated by the Jews and Christians, and they're sort of hedging their bets that if Iran should get back on its feet, the Sunnis can say, well, we never bombed you. It was American Israel that did it.
Wow.
Sunnis and Shiites, it's something that we just don't grasp.
We don't understand this.
Yeah.
As he said, been going on for 1,400 years.
Yep.
They both have their extreme interpretation of what the Quran demands.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they do have something in common.
What?
It is the little Satan and the great Satan are the enemies to the world.
Yes.
So Judaism and Christianity are the enemies to the world, no matter whether you're a Shiite or a Sunni.
Right.
Okay. So it's a mixed bag over there. We stuck our nose in it, and there's a lot of controversies to whether or not we should have done this or not. But in the meantime, we're taking out the worst evil terror organization in the history of the world, more so than Hitler.
Yeah.
And we're not quite done with the project yet. So we'll see where this is going to go. But, you know, we are, the two of us, Israel and America, the Christians and the Jews, are taking out evil.
Yes.
What does that tell you?
It sounds biblical to me.
Let's stay there.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, coming up. Oh, where are we? Go.
Yeah, we're good. No, we're good.
Oh, I got Michael Pink.
Yeah.
I haven't had him for quite a while. And then Dan Perkins.
Oh,
this will be interesting.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, this is good. It started as a class project, but with compassion, it turned into a life-changing breakthrough. After a motorcycle accident left college student Van McGuire paralyzed, the outdoor lifestyle he loved, hiking, camping, and exploring, suddenly felt out of reach. That's because traditional wheelchairs just couldn't handle the rough terrain. But then, a group of engineering students at Tennessee Tech stepped in. Braden Hopper, John Avery, and Luke White took on the challenge, designing and building a custom all-terrain wheelchair they call the Chariot. The result? A rugged, powerful chair built to go where standard wheelchairs can't. Now, McGuire is back outdoors, regaining the freedom he thought he'd lost. He calls it a blessing, saying simply, "It gives me back my legs." What began as a classroom assignment became something much bigger, a reminder that innovation and a little compassion can truly change a life.
So basically, they took two electric big-tire
mountain bikes, put them side by side with a platform in between for a seat, so the bikes are on each side of them, and he can steer it. It looks very stable, but you brought up a very good point. They might want to add one thing to that.
They need a roll bar.
A roll bar.
I mean, look who's driving it.
I know, and
look what happened to him without a roll bar.
And that thing was hauling. That thing is really. But you know what? Yeah. What a great story, especially for this young guy. young guy of very strong faith. Wasn't mentioned. He actually had been to a Bible study when he had his accident.
Really?
And he truly is telling the truth. He says when he feels blessed that he was hooked up with these young guys who put that together for him. Maybe we'll see something new on the marketplace with a roll bar.
Well, they should have a little bit of a roll bar.
Yeah.
Because, he's going to be strapped in there.
Yeah, and he was pushing it.
Yeah, he was pushing it.
Yep.
All right, 1 John, way at the end of the Bible. 1 John 4, verse 20. Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or a sister is a liar. I didn't say that, the Word did. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. Do you have your priorities straight today? You may want to check that out. There's a picture of our beautiful backyard. We call that home. We'll be right back.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your watchful eye on the nation's capital. Every weeknight, covering current events, issues of faith, family, and freedom from a conservative Christian perspective.
Who is really upholding the law?
Tony is the president of the Family Research Council and your leading source for what's really happening in our nation's capital.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Don't miss Washington Watch, weeknights at 6 on the Dove TV.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
But it's just hard to believe that the United Nations goes into this Emergency Security Council to condemn the war on a nation that has killed 40,000 plus of its own people.
For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted, quote, "Death to America."
What good is the United Nations?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m. You're watching the Dove TV, encouraging and informative for San Rafael and the North Bay. Seen on KQSL 17 and these Dove TV affiliates.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and it's been a long time since we've had our guest on today, and I'm talking about Michael Pink. He's the author of about 20 books. He's a public speaker for knowing how to apply biblical wisdom to life and to business. And his latest book is really a fascinating read. It's called Free as a Bird, Living Worry-Free in God's Abundance. And there's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there. And he does have a website, michaelpink, Pink.com. And there's a picture of that landing page, michaelpink.com. Michael, my friend, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Perry. Long time no see.
Yeah, gosh. Where are you? Where are we talking to you from?
Well, I'm in North Carolina. My wife's sister passed away. Funeral was on Saturday in Alabama, and we decided to take a few days and just have a little bit of downtime.
Good.
And we're up in the mountains. If I turn the camera around, you'd see them. It's very beautiful.
Oh.
And so I'm outside because best place I could get decent lighting.
Well, thanks for your time and our condolences to your family.
Thank you.
Those are always tough times. Well, good to see you. Boy, you've been busy. What led you to write Free as a Bird?
Simple question. Back in October of last year, I was out one evening praying, and I said, God, I want to know you. I mean, I want to know you way more than I do. I want to know you better than I know my wife. I want to know you better than I know myself. And I said, would that be okay with you? And it was a clear, moonless, starry night, and the heavens flashed twice. And I thought, whoa. And I said, I'm going to take that as a yes. And then I said, am I going to your place or are you coming to mine? How are we going to do this? And in the days that followed, he took me to Romans 1:20, which talks about the hidden attributes of God, or the hidden things of God being clearly revealed by the things he made, even his eternal power and his divine attributes. So you can learn about his attributes by studying the things he made. Then I go into Matthew 6, and he addresses what today is, according to researchers in psychology and other fields, say is the number one concern that people carry, and that is provision. What am I going to wear? What am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? You know, the worry bug is there. That's the number one concern people have. And so in Matthew 6:25, Jesus says, why are you worrying about these things? And then he says, in the King James, it says, behold the birds. And that word behold, just in plain English, means hold them with your eyes. In the Greek, it means study them intently, learn from them, learn from the birds. He says, they don't sow, they don't reap, they don't gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value, much more value than they? So I thought, well, I'm going to study them, because everybody knows that at a base level that God doesn't throw the food in the nest. But I was blown away by what I discovered when I studied the birds, because God's wisdom and the character that he has, that guides his wisdom, if you will, or the wisdom that guides his character, however that works, that is showcased in everything he made. And he directed me to look at the birds. So I'm looking at them and I'm seeing, oh, that's wise. Now, we say they don't sow, they don't reap, God feeds them. And what I've done my whole life, most of it, look at that bird and say, oh, look at that bird up there. Okay. It's not that God feeds that bird. They estimate there are now 50 billion birds in the wild, worldwide. And he feeds every one of them multiple times a day. Aren't you more valuable than they? If he can manage to get it together to feed 50 billion birds every single day, multiple times a day, do you think he can handle feeding you and me? Yes. And so then as I began to just look a little bit deeper, the first thing I came across was a hummingbird. And a hummingbird in this part of the country, well, they'll go down to the coastline, the Gulf of America. They'll go down to that coast in the fall, and then they will leap out, head over the Gulf. A hummingbird, the smallest flying creature we have, smallest bird, and weighs less than a penny, and it will go airborne, and it will fly 500 miles to a place it has never seen, to find flowers it has never known, but he knows when he gets there, he'll be fed. And so they model something for us. There's a trusting that they just know. And so I began to study, and I found a number of things that shook me to the core. We have family visiting with us right now. We brought Judy's son and his wife with us, and so they're here with us. And I was telling him, I am absolutely being completely changed in a good way by this book, because for most of my Christian walk, I would say, well, of course I trust God. I believe God. I'm trusting Him and all that. But that was really a rare occasion because my actions betrayed me. I learned how to, and I know how to do a lot of practical things to, for example, bring increase, provision, and all that, which is valuable. But when you rely on that alone, you're missing something. And so I began to study this thing out. And Perry, the secrets or the things that people overlook that are there that most people I know have never even thought of, that if we would apply those lessons, it would absolutely upend worry about provision for the rest of your life. It is that profound.
Okay. Boy, there's a lot here. This is wonderful. Let me go forward and then come back. As you finished this study, and now you got a book out called, check it out, called Free as a Bird. And you've indicated that it's life-changing. What changed you the most?
It's really faith. I realized how foolish of me to say one thing, but then get nervous in my gut. Like I'm wondering, is God going to take care of it? You see, and where people run into a problem is if you take a piece of wood and you rub your hand going down the grain, feels nice and smooth. You come up against it, you might get a splinter. When we live our lives in alignment with God's design for us and God's will for us, it's like rubbing it the smooth way. When we go against that design, the purpose that He has for us, we tend to get splinters and then we blame it on the devil. Really, we just need to get in alignment with the way He made things to be. And so I found that my faith in trusting God has become deep. Like, oh, wait a minute. If this is true, if He's feeding 50 billion birds every day, if He can guide a hummingbird across a vast ocean, 500 miles, if He can do that, and they know they're going to be fed. They've never even been there, but they know somehow. And I'm supposed to live like that when I cooperate with the way God made me, which is basically, it goes into one of the major things here about a bird is that they flow with their design. Very, very important. People see somebody, maybe they see him on TV, maybe they see him on, I don't know, America's Got Talent or whatever. They think, I want to be that. But it's not maybe not how you're wired. You'll never see a robin diving for fish. You'll never see an osprey or an eagle digging for worms. They stay consistent with their design, how God wired them, not only on the outside, but on the inside, because Psalm 33 says that each of us, all of us, our hearts were individually fashioned by God. And so there's a process that you can go through to kind of learn, okay, what has God designed me for? What good works, Ephesians 2:10, what good works has He prepared beforehand that I should walk in them? Because, this is very important, your provision, listen, your provision is laid beside your purpose. And your purpose is revealed by your design. And your design is not just, your sort of your natural abilities, your inclinations. It's also like what's in your heart, what God has stirred on the inside of you. Like Nehemiah, he couldn't handle it. So we got to build a wall. It's like he actually says, God put it in my heart. I had to do this. Jeremiah was similar. So that's, for me, the biggest thing is the subtle worry that's just below the surface about how are we going to do this? If we do that, how are we going to make things work? But when you stay in the lane that you were created for, and you walk in that, that's the first thing. There's a few other things, but that's the first one that really changed my life. That wow, because I've done this, Perry, where somebody's come to me and said, "Hey, here's an opportunity," and I look at that opportunity and think, "Wow, man, you can make a lot of money on that." Okay, I think I'll try that. But it's not what I was wired for. It's not it's not the lane that He prepared for me. And it ends up being nothing. And so you go, I need to stay in the lane that He made for me, because in that lane, in that purpose is the provision. So that's really one of the things that has changed me.
You say in the book, Michael, that worry is a kind of an alignment with fear. Explain that.
Yeah. Because you worry is an emotion, and that comes from what you're thinking about, and you're meditating, or you're considering, or you're pondering on an outcome that you don't want. And so you're getting in alignment with fear. You're getting in agreement with a negative outcome. And so it's giving into that. And I think, I don't want to give into that. In fact, I refuse to give into that. So I look and say, okay, well, God, how have you wired me? What is the purpose? And there are a number of other things in the book that talk about how to get in alignment so that fear, which is really agreement with the devil. Because what does the Bible say? They say 365 times, but there's many, many, many times where it either says, be not afraid, or do not fear, or do not be anxious. Hundreds of times in the Bible. It's like, don't do that. But when we do, we're saying, I'll get to that later. Right now, I'm going to focus on the thing you told me not to focus on. And so I say, don't do that.
I am surprised, and I realize we live in a very anxious culture today. I mean, especially with the war going on, the anxiety is at an all-time high. But it's producing a level of cynicism within the believer today. And I've often said, maybe I got it wrong, but cynicism is the cancer of the spirit. How do we get over that?
Well, it goes back to every thought that you have. Cynicism is the outcropping of something. There's a wheel I describe in the book that begins with input. It's impossible for you to have a thought that wasn't preceded by input. Either something you read, something you saw with your eyes, something you heard with your ears. Other senses can play a role as well, but primarily what you see and what you hear. And so when you change what you see and what you hear, that changes what you think. When you change what you think, that changes what ultimately migrates down into your heart to what you believe. What you believe determines what you say. What you say ultimately affects your emotions, and it works its way through motivation and desire and behavior, decisions and behavior, and it finishes out with the results you have. So you want to get rid of cynicism. The cynicism is only because you have input that feeds that. So the bottom line is I have to change my input. And when I change my input, it changes everything. Psalm 12, verse 4, it talks about David's lamenting the enemies. And it says, and what the enemies of God are saying, with our tongue, we will prevail. In modern vernacular, we're saying he who controls the narrative controls the nation, if you will. And we have say over what narrative we're going to feed on. And so you want to talk about cynical or fearful or whatever those things are, it always goes back to the thinking, and the thinking always goes back to the source, and the source is what you feed on, your input. And so if you change your input, everything else will change. And that's where, in my opinion, it starts. I'm going to change my input to what? I'm going to meditate on the Word of God. I'm going to marinate my mind, marinate my brain in the Word of God. Spend time with that. Instead of watching violent YouTube stuff, whatever, I'm here. I'm looking at the birds flying by. I'm taking in I'm taking in nature, taking in God's creation. I'm taking in a whole different kind of input so that I don't get cynical. It doesn't mean I don't look at the news. I pay attention to the news. I look at it, but I don't. It's not something that I consume as I got to have it. I got to find out the latest, whatever you want to talk about video. So input changes cynicism. It'll get rid of it.
Let me take a break here. When I come back, I want to come back to the subject of alignment, your alignment with God and your assignment with God, so to speak. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, such a joy to have back with us Michael Pink. Check out his new book. It's called Free as a Bird, Living Worry-Free in God's Abundance. There is a picture of the book. Where can they get it, Michael?
It's simple. They can go to Amazon and get it, or they can go to michaelpink.com, either one. Amazon or michaelpink.com, either way.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
When plumbing emergencies hit, and they do, you want help from a plumber you can trust, and you need it now. Onnit Plumbing to the rescue. Onnit Plumbing gets the job done right with integrity and quality craftsmanship. Onnit Plumbing offers military discounts, senior discounts, and discounts for KDOV listeners too. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Onnit Plumbing, CCB 229436. No job too big or small. Onnit Plumbing does them all. See us at onnitplumbing.net. onnitplumbing.net.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Do events in the world leave you confused? A world where up is down and down is up.
Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
Alerting you to the truth that the mainstream media would rather you not know.
Common sense discussions on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside down world,
get it straight.
Watch Mornings on the Dove weekdays.
Welcome back, and such a joy and an honor to have back with us our good friend Michael Pink. He's the author and the speaker of, he's over 20 books, but his latest book is a must-get called Free as a Bird. And there it's a picture of the cover on the screen there. You can get it online or at his website, michaelpink.com. Michael is a speaker where he applies biblical wisdom to businesses and in life in general. And you can get a hold of him through his website, michaelpink.com. The book is fascinating. So, Michael, we talked about briefly, and I hear a lot about getting in alignment with God. Callings and giftings and purpose, all of that has to come into focus at the right time. And so many people miss this time. I think primarily because it requires you to get alone with God. You know,
yeah.
And you have a lot of other people telling you, you need to do this, you need to do that. I've actually seen people think they're called into ministry, and it's not even close to their giftings. How do you filter all this?
That's a great question. And, you know, with the book being called Free as a Bird, the one thing I want people to understand is this is about freedom. Freedom, it was for freedom that Christ has set us free. This is about freedom, not only from financial worry, ended it, over. It's also freedom from worrying about all kinds of things, freedom from striving to be something you're not. So you want to know what the thing is. You say, first of all, what are the giftings? Some of the giftings are, what do people see in you? What do they recognize that you can do that comes so naturally to you, you don't think anything of it? Some people can sing. And they just, my wife, she walks around the house singing. Whenever I hear her singing, I stop what I'm doing and just tune in to hear it. It's so beautiful. When I sing, they call 911. I mean, there's got to be something wrong. This guy, it's not my thing. And so you look at, okay, what are the natural giftings that I have? They're easy to overlook because they come natural to you. But then you also can look at and say, okay, I'm gifted. I may be gifted as a spokesperson, speaking. So how do I use that? Do I use it for sales? Do I use it for politics? Do I use it to preach? Do I use it for what? You know, where does that come into play? So the next thing you say is what I call energizers. What when you do this thing makes you come alive? Like when I can do a lot of things. I can right now get a job anywhere in America, in any sales job I want. I'm pretty sure I could get that, but it would not make me feel alive. I've passed that hurdle. I've passed that time in my life to be a sales guy in the field. For me, that's past. So what makes me come alive? What makes you come alive? What energizes you? That's the big thing. Like when you give it attention, you feel like I am alive. When you do that, that's what I'm talking about here is that. And so that's energy. The next one is indignation. It's like, okay, what is the thing that is so upsetting to you? Like you say, I got to do something about it. Like for some people, it's the whole thing about, understandably, is abortion, which I think is a horrible thing. And so some people say, I got to do something about it. Other people say, well, I'm going to support it. I believe in it, but God has called me to, you know, some other endeavor, which can be anything. Slavery could be any number of things. So you say, well, what is the thing that I feel like it's like It's like Jeremiah said, the fire is shut up in my bones. I got to get it out. Nehemiah, I can't stand this wall not being here. We got to build the wall. He says that was there. But then there's the background. What has your background prepared you for? What have you come through that has uniquely prepared you for what's in front of you, that aligns with your gifts, that aligns with the thing that absolutely energizes you, or the other that maybe you say, I got to do something about it. What in my past, what has it prepared me for? Well, in my case, I spent my life in sales, so I kind of know my background has led me to a certain place. But then there's also your personality. Are you a detailed person or a big picture? Are you sort of right brain, left brain? All these things are indicators. But then here's the thing. You don't have to know necessarily exactly. I say, God can't steer a parked car. So you say, God, I submit this to you. As far as I know, I'm heading in the right direction. Please steer me. Because birds do something amazing, Perry. There's a bird called the bar-tailed godwit. Crazy name, but that's what it's called. It's a shore bird. It's on the shore, seashore. And up in Alaska in the fall, around October or so, they go there and they feast. They eat as much as they can. It's kind of like our Thanksgiving. They eat and eat and eat. They almost double their weight. They're not a very big bird, but they fatten up. And then they just jump up in the air and head out over the ocean of Alaska and fly 8,000 miles south to Australia and New Zealand. Now, how in the world do they even know where that is? And they do it nonstop, by the way, nonstop. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the juveniles are left behind because they're visiting with their friends or playing video games, whatever the birds do. And then they say, oh, I better catch up. And they head up and they fly. And they've never been there before. And they find their parents on a continent that they didn't even know. I mean, so this is an amazing thing because God puts something in them and they head off in trust. And so what I say to people is, I'm trusting you, Father, to align me as I go. And you know what? You might make a few mistakes, or you might have a storm that blows you off course, but God will put you back on. He'll bring you back on because in the migration process, birds occasionally get knocked off course because of a storm or bad weather, and it knocks them off, and they find themselves in a place that's not what they're used to, and the food and the diet is a little bit different. But then when the weather clears, they hop back on and they continue. So I say, do not be paralyzed by analysis. Just say, God, I'm trusting you. Guide me along the way. And these are the gifts that I understand I have. This is how my background has prepared me. This is what's burning in me. Lord, steer me in the right path and guide me. And I believe if you do that, even though you will probably make a few, like bumper cars, you may bump into a few things along the way. I think you're going to find your way just fine if you just go in the direction that's in your heart, that is in alignment with the gifts, the callings, your background, your personality, all the things God hardwired into you. That's what I would say.
That's beautiful. I know that one of your passions, Michael, is to deal with businesses, Christian businesses, and this is amazing. And I guess it could almost relate into ministries. And I've often said to people who feel like God's calling them into a certain ministry or to start something, I said, okay, there's 3 things you're going to go through, and I'm going to tell you them in advance, so when you go through them, you're going to know that. That is the birth of the vision, mm-hmm. Then the death of the vision, yep. And then the resurrection of the vision. Yep. That's where God puts it in your heart, but takes it from your hands.
Well said. Well said. Let me add to this. When people are worried about, what if I start off and then the provision's not there? They have an issue. Here's something you should know. Birds do something every single day. We recognize a bird and say, oh, there's a bird. Well, when you see there's a bird, you're looking in the sky because birds are known to fly. They fly. That's what we recognize about them mostly. But they spend several times more hours in a day preparing themselves to fly. It's called preening, getting the feathers in alignment and doing certain things in order to fly. Well, if you want to do well in your thing, you need to spend a lot more time behind the scenes, preparing yourself, training yourself, learning and guiding. Birds do this. And then when it's time to go get some food, in the book, I've identified 13 strategies that I've observed that birds do to get their provision. They don't just say, well, I don't see anything. I mean, they're amazing what they do to get the provision, and God wired them that way. And I've applied those things to business with amazing and instantaneous results. And so it's a whole game changer when you learn how do I learn from the bird? How do they forage? How do they exhibit, if you will, or exude faith? What do they do to prepare themselves for the task at hand? All those things they do. And so when they have this migration, you got to read the migration. You got to read, because the chapter on migration is 12 ways to know God's will. 12 ways God guides you. Learn from the birds. And that is a huge chapter. It's my favorite one. I save it to the end of the book. And birds are a beautiful, complex creature that God created for us to discover so that we would learn from God. This isn't like, oh, the bird's inherently smart necessarily. This is about God's wisdom encoded in there. Study them and you learn about him. And that's what this is all about, Perry.
This is beautiful. Let me say again to the viewers and listeners, check out Michael's book. It's called Free as a Bird, Living Worry-Free in God's Abundance. And there's a picture of the cover of the book online at Amazon, or you can go to his website, michaelpink.com. Michael, one quick question before I let you go. It's good to see you again, friend.
Thank you,
what would you say to a person that's stuck in fear?
Okay, good question. Fear is belief, in my opinion, and I say that faith and fear have something in common. They both are rooted in belief. Faith is belief in something good. Fear is belief in something not good, something that we dread or we don't want. And so fear comes from what we focus on. If I focus on all the things that could go wrong on a trip or a cross-country trip or whatever, on a plane trip or some other thing, if I focus on those things, I'll live in fear. I don't. So I choose to say, you know what? The Bible says to fear not. Well, I can't just not fear. What I can do is believe or cast my glance towards something else, i.e. God, his word, his spirit, his instruction, something positive, even in nature. Well, if I'm studying them, all of a sudden my mind is preoccupied with good things, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are pure, honest report, praiseworthy. Philippians 4:8 talks about those things. If I think on those things, fear will disappear. Fear disappears in the presence of one of two things: either light, i.e. revelation. People were afraid to eat tomatoes back in the Middle Ages because they thought the aristocrats were dying after eating tomatoes, and they thought, okay, they must be poisoned. Turned out the tomatoes were on pewter plates, and it was the acid was leaching out the lead, and they were dying of lead poisoning. But they found that out because the peasants didn't get the memo, and they ate off of wooden plates, and so they weren't getting it. So fear, a lot of times, it's gotten rid of in the presence of light or knowledge, or perfect love casts out fear. And so I'm going to, say, I'm going to walk in the love of God because I know God loves me. I know his eye is on me. His eye is on the sparrow. His eye is definitely going to be on me.
All right, check it out. Called Free as a Bird, Living Worry-Free in God's Abundance. There's a picture of the cover on the book, again, on the screen. And again, those listening on radio, go to michaelpink.com, or you can order his book online at Amazon. It's called Free as a Bird. Michael, good to see you, friend. Are you coming west anytime soon?
Perry, I keep wanting to. It's a little bit of ways. But I have to tell you, it does my heart good to see you. You haven't changed a bit. You look awesome, look good, and you sound good.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you today.
Well, thank you. I gave up worrying.
Good for you.
Yeah. God bless you, friend. Good to see you. Take care. Okay.
Bye.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Okay, welcome back. And again, an honor to have back with us our good friend Dan Perkins. He's a political commentator. He's the host of What's on My Mind podcast. He also is the author of a historical romance novel, actually 3 of them, called Sad Eyes, and you can check it out. There's a picture of those on the screen. He has interesting outreach to veterans called Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us, which he really provides a remarkable service to them. And he also has his own website, danperkins.guru. All right. And I still think he ought to come up, what's perkin'?
Good morning, sir.
What's perkin' with Dan? Good to see you, buddy. A lot going on.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
I watched the end of your previous interview, and it struck me. I'm writing a book, not a novel, nonfiction, about the Democratic Party and their intimidation of people in this country. And when I listened to what the gentleman was talking about, and you asked the question about fear, fear is the primary weapon that the Democratic Party has used on American people of all races for a long time. Mm-hmm. And when he said the way to deal with fear is one way is to turn to the Lord. Yeah. If you don't have a relationship with the Lord, it's going to be harder for you to conquer your fear.
Absolutely.
And what we're seeing is that the young people of America are turning back to God.
Yes.
They're dealing with their fear by talking to Jesus about what's going on in their lives, and they need his help. And I think we need more and more people to conquer that fear by having a meaningful relationship with the Lord.
Well said. Thank you. And you're absolutely right. You're spot on. It is the answer. It's not an answer. It is the answer. So, good to see you. A lot to talk about here quickly. How did we go from 48 hours to 5 days in an ultimatum with Iran?
Well, that's the way Mr. Trump is. And when you look at what's happening, how things are turning around, I said yesterday on a show, if we had a decent relationship between Republicans and Democrats in the Congress, I believe that a president would be more willing to share information of a secret nature as to what's happening in diplomatic relations around the world. Mm-hmm. But because we don't have an element of trust between Democrats and Republicans, the president is reluctant, and has said so, to share any information. There's no question in my mind that there have been talks going on behind the scenes between Israel and the United States and the Iranian government, whatever is left of it. But I think that the president doesn't trust that if he gives it to leadership in Congress, Democrat and Republican, that they'll be able to keep their mouth shut and not spread it. So the fact that it went from 48 hours to 5 days indicates that the president believes there's some opportunity to settle this without another round of bombing. So he's willing to give them some time, just let the negotiators see if they can do something. But I do think it's important, Perry. We had another example last week why it's so difficult to trust the Iranians. They told us flat out in the last series of negotiations, they do not have an ICBM with range greater than 2,000 miles. And yet they sent two of them to a British base 2,500 miles away. So they lied to us. So it's very difficult to have meaningful, substantial conversations with that government, given their ability to lie.
So it would appear to me that there's something else here, and that is the president has to know by now that any negotiations with the leadership of Iran will probably be violated. High probability would it be violated. So therefore, is he saying to the world, I'm trying everything, but at the end of the day, none of it's going to work. We have to finish the job.
That's a tough question. It's really a tough question. I've thought about it and talked to a number of people over the last couple of weeks. When you've got a party that you can't trust that they'll do what they say they're going to do, whether it's the Straits of Hormuz or their nuclear program or whatever, it becomes very difficult in your own heart to decide, am I going to trust them this time? Or am I'm going to have to be stricter in what I want and more enforcement? I think that that's a huge dilemma for the president, and it should not be overlooked. I think it's a very difficult thing, and perhaps one of the reasons why so many presidents over the last 49 years have decided to ignore the problem, because they haven't been able to figure out what to do.
It appears that America's current agenda is to take away everything military and set it up for regime change. Israel's agenda is to take all possibility of nuclear armament and reduce it to dust and force a regime change. Or am I missing something?
No, you're not, and that's a very good point. I had a wonderful interview yesterday, which I'll send to you, of an Iranian refugee who was a professor at the University of Connecticut, University of Connecticut, and he is a full professor, PhD in engineering, and teaches students to be engineers. He's also a member of a group of professionals, doctors, lawyers, educators, civilians, who have formed a group over the last 50 years, 40 years, 49 years, about what to do about their country. And it's a totally different perspective than what we see and hear in the media from both the left and the right. And his feeling is that he's somewhat addressing what you're talking about. We can bomb, we can destroy every building in the country of Iran. But until we eliminate the army and the leadership, there won't really be any substantial change. And he believes in boots on the ground, but he doesn't believe in American boots on the ground. He believes that the Iranian people have to be responsible for getting rid of this government and all the layers upon layers upon layers. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. You know, the game that children play in pizza parlors, where a mole comes up and you whack it with a plunger. you killed the Ayatollah and his son comes up. You try and kill the son and somebody else comes up. There is a never-ending line of people who are willing to step over to take leadership because they're all willing to die for their country under Islam. And so until they can wipe out the personnel, there'll never be peace.
Yeah. Kenneth Abramowitz had him on yesterday. He calls it a death cult. And when you study death cults, they don't negotiate. They fight till their death, and that's part of their mentality. Do you think Russia's involved in this?
Do I think if Russia is involved in it?
Yeah.
I believe they are. Things have changed dramatically for Russia, for the negative. What we've done now, we've taken Venezuela out of the oil market control of the Chinese. We're taking Iran out of the oil markets from the control of the Chinese. And we're controlling the price of oil. The Straits of Hormuz does not affect us adversely. In fact, one would say that the Straits being shut down is great for us because right now, West Texas Intermediate crude is at a substantial discount to Brent. And so our crude oil is cheaper and we have an abundant supply and people need it, including China. Energy is a weapon, believe it or not, and it's an economic weapon. And when you've got the Middle Eastern countries who use the Straits of Hormuz to ship our oil, not being able to ship it for fear of the tankers being blown up, they're losing market share, and they're losing market share to us. And so we're getting stronger in the oil markets because we have supply. The Brent is in short supply, and much of the world needs Brent, and 20% of it is locked out because of the Straits of Hormuz.
All right, interesting stuff. Let me shift gears just for a moment over to DHS. Yesterday, Markwayne Mullin was approved by the Senate to become the new DHS secretary. Right. I would assume he's probably going to be sworn in today there in the Oval Office. How significant is this?
Well, it's significant in the sense that, for several reasons. One, he had a problem with Christie. And Christie, one of the mistakes that she made, in my opinion, forget I don't mean to forget the $250 million she spent on advertising to get people to self-deport. She didn't use Tom Homan very well at all. And when the president sent him to Minneapolis, things calmed down very quickly. He's an expert. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to talk to the political leaders, to the military, to the police. What he did is he took an issue off the table for the Democrats because things are quiet in Minneapolis, and so it was a good idea. I think he was an interesting choice. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but not my last choice. But he was a senator, and there's kind of an unspoken rule in the Senate. If one of your own is up for a job, you vote for him. So I had no doubt that he was going to be confirmed, regardless of whether the Democrats like him or not. He was going to be confirmed. He's going to bring a different mindset with his experience that Christie had, and I think he will be a good team leader. And that Tom will work closely with him to bring ICE out and start expanding the rest of the bad guys.
Did Senator Thune yesterday, Majority Leader in the Senate, make a mistake by suggesting we fund DHS and leave ICE out? And that immediately got the response from the president of a no. Did he make a mistake with that suggestion?
I'm inclined to agree with you, but I'm not totally confident of my decision.
That's okay,
maybe
Dan.
He isn't either. But I do think that I don't know that I would have done it that way, but I'm not in charge of the Senate. He is.
Yeah. Okay, let me take a quick break. We've got a lot to talk about. Check out a couple of places for Dan. DanPerkins.guru, songs and stories for soldiers.us. And then, of course, he has his podcast, all the podcast outlets, What's on My Mind with Dan Perkins. We'll be right back.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
The 71.5 Golf Challenge arrives Saturday, May 16th with a 4-person scramble, morning and afternoon shotguns, and a 6:30 award social. Register your team by April 1st for an early bird special. Score the team player pack for just $20 instead of $100 with the code EARLYBIRDIE. Become a sponsor and help kids across Southern Oregon. Visit 715.org or call 541-779-3275. At the 71.5 Golf Challenge, your drive saves lives. Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV. Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
That they found out that the Ayatollah and all of his leaders were in one building.
This is not a single overnight operation.
The president has the authority to wage war.
We see Iranian women in the street celebrating, and we see liberal women in the United States protesting. It's interesting. What a dichotomy.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
Welcome back. Dan Perkins is with us, and of course, check out his podcast. It's always a great source, and that is called What's on My Mind podcast with Dan Perkins. Check out his website, danperkins.guru, and support his work with veterans, songs and stories for soldiers.us. And there's a picture of those landing pages. Dan, is MAGA, however you want to say it, is it being divided over the war? From what
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. There was if you saw, maybe you don't watch it, but CNN has this guy who was their pollster guy, very animated, and he put up on the screen last week a poll of MAGAs, whether they support the president. 100%. 100%. And he makes the comment, he can't go any higher. He's already at 100%. And that, by and large, the MAGA supporters believe in what the president is doing. Yes, there are probably some who don't agree with certain elements of what the president's doing, but by and large, he's got 100% support in the MAGA voters.
Okay. In the meantime, gas prices are high, and the world economy is shaken, and we're on the verge of possible inflation returning. How much pressure is the president under to get this war behind him?
Donald Trump told us when this situation happened with Iran, he said, gas prices are going to go up. I believe the motion that we're taking will be short term and that gas prices will come down. But it may take a while, not a long period of time, but he believes that they will come down probably into the mid-50s. Now, we hit a peak during this attack situation where West Texas Intermediate crude went to $120 a barrel. And the president spoke and it dropped to 91, got down to 89. Right now, West Texas Intermediate crude is touching what would be an approach to bear market possibility. So I believe that the president is right. He's the one who's in charge of what the battle looks like and what they're going to do. But I believe once that's solved, and if they come up with a solution, a multi-state solution on protecting ships in the Straits of Hormuz, we'll see a crashing correction in oil, and Mr. Trump will be proven to have been right again.
Okay. We're into this war right around 5 weeks. Basically have decimated Iran. I mean, there's pockets of problems, but for the most part, they're done. And yet, it's 3 years between Russia and Ukraine, and they can't seem to bring it into a landing. What does that tell you?
That's very true. One of the significant differences is while we as a nation have given the Ukrainian people arms and armament, we were not involved in the delivery of those against Russia. In the case of Iran, we have all the armaments and more that is being used in Ukraine and is being delivered by American fighter bomber pilots and Israelis working in together. So that the difference is, while America is supplying weapons for both sides, both wars, they're active participants in this. And I want to go back to the gentleman I spoke to yesterday. He said you could flatten every building in Iran, but until you get rid of the Ayatollahs and their structure, their personnel structure, you will never have a victory.
The intelligence on the ground in Iran, not only from Israel but our own CIA, is pretty remarkable. I mean, we know where people are, and we know where they are at what time of day, etc. So it would appear to me that we know what it's going to take to finish the job. I guess the question is, why haven't we done it?
That's a good question. I don't know that I have an answer, a good answer for you for that. I think that there are a lot of people who have varying opinions between Iran as an enemy and Russia as an enemy. There are more concerns because Russia has nuclear weapons and Iran, at least we hope they don't have any. So the size of the bad guy is bigger in Russia than the size of the bad guy in Iran. Now, there's no question that the Iranian leadership still has a lot of power and influence, but diminishing every day. Russia is finding themselves in a situation where they've lost 2/3 of their oil market, and their revenues are diminishing rapidly. And so that the country is going to not only going into recession, may very well go into a depression. So economic power, and again, so back what I said a few moments ago, the power of the control of the straits has a tremendous weapon. That it is, I believe, the biggest weapon that the Iranians have is that if they can maintain control over the straits, they can create havoc in the world. And some people think that if we don't do something, the pressure by the Iranian government, whatever is remaining of it, on the Straits of Hormuz, could in fact drive oil prices to $160 to $200 a barrel. That means the world is going to go into a depression.
What happened to the coalition of nations that were going to help escort ships?
You know, that's a great question because I kept looking at the list. These are the nations who have agreed with the president to help protect the Straits of Hormuz. There's one name that's not there. You know who it is?
Britain?
Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
There are a lot of the oil states around Saudi Arabia who have said they will support opening up the straits, but the Saudis have not committed. I think, and I've said this before, the Saudis are the key. At the moment, they're on the sidelines. Yeah, they're allowing us to land, but they're getting also hits from Iran with their missiles and their drones. But they've been quiet and they haven't said anything. If the Saudis were to come into this conflict and use their air force for protection for the Straits of Hormuz, things will be very different. But since they're not there, one has to question why the Saudis haven't joined the other Arab states to protect the Straits.
Is that a Sunni Shiite issue?
I'm sorry?
Is that a Sunni Shiite issue?
It very well could be. You know, again, most Americans don't understand that there are two factions in Islam, and the Sunnis are from Saudi Arabia, and the Shiites are from Iran. And the Shiites represent roughly about 10 to 15% of the total Muslims in the world, and the greatest concentration of them are in Iran. But there's been hatred for a long, long time between the two. And that's why I'm surprised that Saudi Arabia has been on the sidelines. And I don't want to think it's the difference between the two religious beliefs. There's something else going on that I haven't figured out yet.
Okay. Good to see you, buddy. Let me see what our viewers and listeners go to danperkins.guru, website, songs and stories for soldiers.us. Also a great service to veterans. And check out his podcast, What's on My Mind with Dan Perkins. All right, buddy. Good to see you. And I still think you ought to come up, What's Perkin with Dan?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be with you, sir.
Yeah, you too. Good to see you.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old